This experiment will measure autoerotic stimulation of the cortex, leading to erection. Play.
Hey, Curious Connerys. Dylan here. We just want to give you a heads up that the following program contains conversation relating to topics that may or may not include physical and sexual assault and self-harm and mistreatment of different cultures. We are in no way condoning these things. But given that Sean Connery has acted in films going back many years, they've tended to come up. To spin a phrase from Disney, many of these films include negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures that were certainly wrong then and are definitely wrong now. But rather than not discuss this content, we'd like to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and create conversation for a richer future. Stay curious, folks. And now, on to our show.
Yeah, right. That's like seeing the trailer for Shrek 4.
When did trailers start being that long? Like, is that like that's probably a theatrical trailer, right?
Yeah,
I think.
I've seen trailers that were like 4 minutes long.
I think
5
we
long, back from back before there was like a form to it. And now forgive me, I've got to turn around.
We've listened to a couple of watched a few like of these films trailers just for fun because they all pop up on IMDb. Like, let's watch a trailer, and yeah, some of them will just kind of put you through the whole movie. And it's like shit, man. Like even
sometimes
Zardoz.
with no context, as this one did. This one pretty much showed the whole movie, but with no
like
context.
now that we've seen it, we're like, okay, it kind of showed everything.
But yeah, James Bond trailers are really long too. Like those older ones,
especially from that era. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. It's like he ran, he jumped. They played a theme song 10 times.
He ran,
restarted it.
He flew.
He jumped.
Well, we're just recording now. Do we want to start with the song or?
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
You want to do the song
listen to it
live?
Yeah, let's do it. I love the song.
Okay, let's see if I can maneuver this.
You should edit in when it gets to Zardoz, the Zardoz head yelling Zardoz.
Yeah.
Zardoz!
I will. That's perfect.
This is weird. This is very weird. Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Now I've edited the theme in so we can listen to it.
Nice. And I would enjoy that.
Oh, cool.
Here goes.
Connery Curious!
Zardoz!
Last Crusade, you only live twice, and the Anderson tapes. Murder on the Orient Express. You never know what the wheel's gonna spin next. Marty and a woman of straw.
Zardoz!
Zardoz, 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 Zardoz,
Zardoz!
Zardoz! Zardoz! Mario Lima.
Dylan Titus.
How you doing today, my friend?
I am doing... I'm confused. I have so many questions, man, but hopefully some answers.
Me too.
Yes, folks, welcome to Connery Curious, the podcast where me and Dylan Titus go through every single film in the iconic filmography of the late, great Sir Sean Connery. And today, not only are we doing another Sean Connery movie, we have a Sean guest.
Sean with us, our first time Sean.
First Sean on the Sean Connery podcast. We're welcoming our good old pal, Sean Murphy.
Hey, everybody.
What is that?
Sean Murphy.
This is a big reunion.
Yes.
I think we mentioned this.
It's very
This is
good.
like-
This is a long time coming.
Oh,
so.
man. This is like, should we talk about like the origin of all? We all met together.
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah, we
about
did.
our origins. Yeah, we pretty much all met the same day, right?
Yeah,
in the hallway.
almost at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Same
Pretty
class.
In the hallway. We met in
guys
the
were
hallway
talk-
outside of class.
You guys are talking first. I think about Rush or something.
Yeah,
some
some-
music.
We were just talking about music in
Yeah.
general, and then you had a Rush shirt.
Yeah.
So it got
was.
us onto Rush.
And then it was kind of like, okay. And then we just started. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm making friends. Then like,
I think it was like radio class or something. Was it radio? Oh, no, it was Steve's class.
It was like
yeah, I think Steve's class was our very first class.
intro to like broadcasting or something like that. I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like
It was good
wild.
times.
Yeah, and like I found out you lived in the same town as
Yep.
me and shit. And then
Yeah.
like I'm in a band with so and so, and I'm like, oh man, I know all those guys and shit. And like I started doing music around. And we did plenty of shows together at different venues.
Tons of shows, and just started being friends. You know?
Man.
Like,
Yeah, all three of us. Because I think Dylan found a picture not too long ago of us at the old spot.
Yeah.
And like we were like Sean had a super long hair and shit.
Oh yeah.
And all three of us kind of hanging out.
I cut my hair off and I gave it to Dylan.
Yeah, right. Dylan always had short hair in college.
Yeah. Forgive me. I'm adjusting my microphone. This is new for me. This is the first time we've had 2 guests in my house. So I've got to do like some turning around
right. It is the first
and
double
finagling
guest.
of things, and I'm trying not to have my microphone stand hitting your microphone stand. So that works a little better, a little
I
cleaner.
did do a power move with my microphone stand. I set it up. I man-spread my microphone stand.
Very phallic of you.
Yes, which
And,
fits perfectly.
As
in
we
with
know,
this
the
movie.
penis is evil.
The penis is evil. The gun is good. Oh my god.
Oh,
But yeah, we've known each other for quite some time, but we hadn't seen each other for quite a while. So it's great to see you guys catch up on all of the super fun things that have been going on in our lives and watch this interesting movie.
This seems to be a habit of Connery Curious lately, where I just spent like the first 3 minutes just like fumbling the microphones.
we're gonna start a crowd
good
fund
bit.
to
It's
get
a
him.
good bit.
Yeah, thank you.
He's like, "Creak, creak, 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 creak," like, during like an emotional like sentence. I'm gonna talk about like my dead grandmother's like, "Creak, creak, creak." Yep, go on.
This is why I wasn't invited to your wedding.
It's like,
Either of your weddings.
Oh my god.
oh,
So, yeah, for a little bit of inside baseball, we're recording this at 11:30 at night.
the latest recording ever. So
Yeah,
in
definitely
Connery
the
Curious
latest
history.
Connery Curious.
Yeah, we did like we started about like 8. No, what time did we start? Like 8 o'clock. The movie, I think.
We started the movie
No.
around 9:15.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, short movie. It's only an hour 40.
Hour
something.
45,
So
yeah.
that was.
It felt longer than
It
that.
did.
Oh,
It did feel a bit longer.
I mean, we'll get into it, but definitely, it's a solid hour 45.
Solid. It's fucking solid.
Very solid.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ, Dylan, what are you doing?
Those damn mice out there just squeaking around. So yeah, what movie are we doing this week?
Well,
fellas?
last week, for a little bit of context, we watched Goal.
Goal.
And every week as of late, we've been going, what do we want to watch on the wheel? What do we hope the wheel spins us? Or what don't we hope the wheel spins us? And last week, our mutual friend of all of us, Matt Brown, came over and visited. And he told me, Sean said, get to Zardoz.
So, to clarify, what I said to Matt was, tell Dylan I'm waiting for Zardoz. Like, I'm excited for it to come up. But in perfect Matt, he just said, do the Zardoz or whatever. Like it's some dance move or something.
Sean got in my face and said, tell him you make sure Titus does Zardoz.
I'll break your fucking legs.
I'll fucking kill you.
Well,
if
I
he doesn't
told
go.
Matt, I'm like, well, it's entirely reliant on the Wheel of Curiosities. We can't just make that call. And then we spun it on the Wheel of Curiosities. It landed Zardoz. So today we're watching 1974's sci-fi classic
Extravaganza.
Zardoz, starring Sean Connery and other people with names.
Yeah, I didn't know who the fuck anybody was in this movie, man.
There's a lot of people in this movie.
I'm sure if we look into like some of their like IMDb's, we'll be like, oh, they were in something, but I don't recognize anybody, man.
Well, let's pull up some pages. I'm gonna have to turn around away from my microphone.
Yeah, do your thing.
I want to get a budget on this film
Yeah, that's one of my biggest questions.
because some of the effects look great and some really cool shot ideas, but in some cases it was fucking weird, man. So like it's
Budget $1.57 million.
Wow, they used every bit of that.
Every penny of that.
And for all the things in this movie that are weird, which I'm sure we'll get into,
Oh, yeah.
like that for that much money, I mean that's a pretty cheap movie. I mean, contextually for the time frame, I'm not 100% sure, just because I'm not an expert on that kind of
1962,
stuff.
Dr. No was made for $1 million.
Okay, which was 12 years before this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what was the first Star Wars made for? I mean, that might not be a great comparator either. Just because Lucas was kind of passion project-y.
oh yeah,
And like,
I'm sure he's broke too. I'm sure.
yeah, I'm sure he also probably didn't.
$11 million.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. All right.
But made $775. No wonder it was such a blockbuster. That's a huge return.
Yeah. And what was the return on Zardoz?
I think it said
$12.
1.8 million on a 1.7 million budget. It made a 0.8 back. It made $100,000 back.
Hey, they broke even.
Yeah,
Wow.
which is honestly better than a lot of films can.
Yeah.
Or a lot of productions or projects and art projects in general can hope for is breaking even.
And how much of that went to
gonna
Connery?
turn this
Because,
way.
man, this dude must have been, like, getting paid something good to look at that script and be like, yes,
Well,
I'm interested.
So speaking of the script, like part of me wonders, because the movie is not very coherent when we
Right.
watch it, but part of me wonders if there was a script that was coherent. Because they managed
There had to be
get
because
Connery,
the
right?
story was actually coherent towards the end. Okay, so to jump ahead a little bit, once the ending kind of started to reveal everything that was happening, I felt like I was watching a Christopher Nolan film.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Like, so clearly there was a script.
Yeah, I mean, they did an amazing job with some of the editing in this movie to like do all of the things that they wanted to do, which we'll get into more as we start diving into the movie. But it seems like maybe some of those things took away from the coherency of the script at points, or they were intentionally trying to obscure. Like one of the things that Nolan does really well is that it doesn't feel intentional that he's trying to obscure what the story is about. And then you get to the end and you have that like aha moment where you're like, oh, this is what it's been the whole time.
I had my own aha moment. Mario, let's trade microphones.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can move that one and pivot around.
There you go. All right, we're just there. Okay. Yeah, that way.
Don't cross your
I hate it when my Schwartz gets twisted.
don't cross the streams there, boys.
Sorry about that. It was really distracting me from being able to talk coherently about this film.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Let's warm up a little bit before we get right into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Sean, how you been, man?
I've been really good. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen you guys, so in that time I got married and had 2 kids and bought a house, so I'm just like
I thought
full
Dylan
on.
was joking when he said that you had 2 kids. Like, no way. I
Yeah,
knew he had 1 kid. I didn't know he went for round 2.
yeah.
How old are they both?
One is 3 and one is 1.5.
Wow, man.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
man.
Dude.
thanks. Thank you guys.
Adorable
Yeah, I mean
kids.
things are crazy. Life has just been kind of flying by and happening, and just trying to keep up and trying to
Once
play
you hit
music
30,
still. And
it's like,
oh, dude,
it's like the brakes don't work anymore, man.
yeah. I mean, it's August. It'll be August 9th and something like that. And
Yeah.
minutes.
Still so distracted by things. What is going on?
You can't focus.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to be able to, like, while all that other stuff is happening, make time to sit down with friends and do fun stuff like this. And, you know, it's like you take for granted all that stuff when you're a little younger. Of just being like, oh, I can just
right.
do this stuff whenever I want. You know, like I joke with our friend Matt all the time that when I first started playing in a band with him, we would practice at midnight at Jam Stage because Dylan worked there, and he would let us practice for free after midnight because they weren't open anymore.
Good days.
So we would show up
And then I'd be
at midnight.
selling candy bars out of there as well.
Yeah, and practice until like 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then
hang out,
every other
smoke
night.
joints outside.
Yeah, like literally every other night we were like at the spot. Like going to shows, playing Madcap, playing open mics, going to other venues occasionally too. But like just nuts. And now I'm like, what time is it? It's my bedtime. I need to.
That was only about 7 or 8 years ago, too.
Yeah, right.
It feels like forever, man.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about because, like, again, I see all those old pictures of us, like, you know, like Dylan with short hair, you with long hair and shit. And like us at those old venues, like again, like the spot where I pass by that building sometime, which is it's not even there anymore, I don't think. Or
Did they tear it down?
I think they're about to. They have like it's like
They've been talking about building real dorms over there.
yeah,
forever.
that's what I think they're doing. But just like looking at that building, I'm like so many fond memories of just going out, jamming, hanging out. Like I remember one time me and Dylan went up there, and we just played like Ozzy songs. And then one like impromptu like blues jam where like Dylan was just fucking around saying like, you know, what he sees in the room and shit. And like one guy came up to us after like, that's what these nights are about, man. These are what these jam nights are about. People just fucking around having fun, not trying to get clout and shit, just hanging out and having a good time. And that was what it was always about, man.
No one was going to be made a star.
Absolutely.
On those nights, except for in that community.
Yeah,
like you'd have your moment, but then the next guy, next person would be just as much of a star.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what, in all honesty, was kind of the beginning of the end for all that stuff. Anyway, it's just like trying to make too much of a scene out of just people that are trying to hang out and having fun. You know, it's like gets to be too much. Yeah. You know, people start taking it too seriously. You know, like there's things in your life you need to take serious, and there's things in your life that should be for fun. And when those things get mixed up, you gotta step back and reevaluate what it is you're doing.
Being a rock star sounded way cool in high school, man. Then I'm like, I gotta pay fucking bills.
Yeah, right.
And shit,
My
man.
friends are on.
What
coke?
if I just talk into a microphone?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like this. Yeah, it's like we still stayed in like the kind of like the entertainment section of the world. We're just not making music necessarily. We're making conversation.
We're all still making music.
Yeah,
all
we
of
are
us still.
still
Everyone check out Sean's bands, Nobody's Boy Scout and No Plateau.
Yeah, listen to it anywhere you get your music things.
I
Good
listened.
stuff.
I listened to the first. I think the first one came up on my Spotify, like my mixes or whatever. And like I was like, man, like you know, some people talk about like the albums they listened to in college. That was legit the album we all listened to. Like all of us, we were like so like hyped about No Plateau's.
I still have the Eyes in Front demo.
And the Eyes in Front thing. Yeah, that's like
there's a lot of recordings we did. I like go through it all the time. I'm like, what did we do again?
No One But Me is one of my favorite local records.
Yeah,
that thing slaps.
That record is really interesting too because we actually recorded that before Christian was even in the band. And like we were working with George, and it was going to be a different band that Christian was like leading. It was going to be like the front man of, and we were going to try and find another drummer and do all this other stuff.
Yeah, I remember you telling me those.
And yeah, he was just not confident at all with his vocal stuff on the record.
Oh, you did a great job.
Yeah, and then like over time, me and Sam, who was the other guitar player in the band at the time, convinced him to let us do some of the vocals with him, and then he wasn't happy with the product of like what the record was, and we just shelved it for years. And then we came back to it afterwards, and at that time Sam had left the band, and me and John and Christian were just playing as a 3-piece, and we recorded like 2 other EPs. Both of those got released first, and then me and John were like, hey, like we should release No One But Me, it's really good, like let's go back to George. We'll redo some stuff if you want to do stuff. You've been working on singing for years now. And we went back and he re-recorded some stuff. And it just kind of became its own thing now. And I like that record a lot.
Me too.
It was interesting for me too because I play bass on that record. I don't play like one lead guitar part, I think, and that's it. Because those are all songs that John and Christian just wrote together. They're brothers. They lived in the same house. And Christian would just like, I'd be like at John's house. We'd be like watching RoboCop or something. And Christian would come downstairs and be like, I have this song. And I'm going to play it right now. And like John would be like, okay, I'm going to play this part. And I'm just like watching RoboCop. Like, all right, you guys do your thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So,
hell yeah, man.
Yeah, fun stuff, man. I mean, I no secrets on my end, but I'd like to do some music stuff with Dylan soon, and then
I'd be
maybe
honored.
make Mario play some guitars on stuff
And
on some of the things.
I'm doing a project too, and I have like a lot of vocalists on my list, and you were on the list.
Okay.
So if you're down, we'll do like a whole like trifecta of material.
Oh yeah, the collaboration continues from college.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is what it's all about.
We gotta find. We just talked about it last week. I think off mic. We gotta find those old projects we worked on. Those video, like we just fucked.
I have them on a hard drive somewhere.
I have a video that we made of how to change strings in your guitar.
I remember we're at your house with like
Kelly, I think.
Kelly Dwyer. Yeah. Shit, man. Yeah. Oh my god, that's unlocked the memory.
I thought of another vocalist for your project, by the way.
Who's that?
Mish.
Ooh, that would be pretty dope.
Get some of those like tribal kind of yells and stuff.
sample his drums and stuff too.
Shit. He's a very fine rapper too. I know he was him and Eric together were
I was talking
fantastic.
with Eric the other day. We've all known each other for 11 years.
Jesus, that's a long time.
11 years.
Yep. Yeah. We started NEIT in 2012.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, because I only know that specifically
We
year-wise
saw
because we saw the
Avengers.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like, wow, this is 2012.
That's wild.
And
So
they're still
what you're
making-
saying is that our friendship is as old as the Marvel universe.
No,
Well, the film,
that would be 2008.
Yeah. Okay.
And if we're counting the rules of No Way Home, it'd be 2001, 2, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
MCU ended in Endgame, man.
Yes, it did. That's where the MCU ended. There's no movies after Endgame.
It's over.
Yeah. It is the end game. Well, it's not called End Movie.
Imagine if they named it End Movie.
That up there,
Avengers
that's
End
the End
Movie.
Movie.
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's talk about film that is just as good, I think, as Avengers.
I would say
Endgame.
it's better than Endgame.
You think better than Endgame?
I mean, I've never seen another movie that's like this movie.
I've
Ever.
only seen one other movie that's like this movie.
Okay. What movie is
Barbarella.
Okay.
Have you guys seen Barbarella?
I haven't. No.
I will let you borrow Barbarella.
Cool.
It is like this, but for ladies. Not really. Like, it's not like a girl movie. It's just like our main character is a woman.
Okay.
Wearing just as few clothes.
Okay.
There's just as much sex. There's just as much trippy visuals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall any rape in Barbarella.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Spoilers for Zardoz.
Yes.
Spoilers for Zardoz.
Spoilers.
But hey, if you're a listener of Connery Curious, you don't even need to be a regular listener. You heard the intro.
Yeah.
You heard the intro to this podcast. There's gonna be problematic stuff.
This is one of the ones that definitely qualifies
For that intro, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
been quite a few that haven't been too bad. This one is definitely more of the like what's going on in this movie sometimes.
Yeah.
Let me go around for a minute. So
Go around.
all three of us did not see this beforehand.
Never seen this before.
Sean had saw a trailer, I guess.
And we went in
we
totally
just went.
blind.
So in your minds,
I'm going to Carolina.
what did you think this movie was about? Like, just by looking at that photo of Connery?
I honestly expected that it was going to be something like Barbarella.
Really?
And I was right. I was proven right by that. But I did not. The storyline is what really surprised me. The visuals, everything that surprised you guys also surprised me because of its
Yeah.
content.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I've seen Barbarella, it's like you go on a roller coaster, you know what to expect from a roller coaster. It's just the things that you know that you're expecting are like...
You don't know when they're going to happen.
Yeah,
or
I'm going to
that
get
kind of
twists
stuff.
and turns, but I don't know where they're going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the appeal. You go on a roller coaster because you know you're going to get flipped and turned around and do all those things. You just don't know when and where. Will it be in the dark? Will I be upside down? Will it be way high up in the air?
Will I vomit guns violently out of my face?
Exactly. Vomit firearms. So that was kind of my mindset with it, where I kind of knew what to expect in my head because I've seen this. It's very similar to Barbarella.
Huh.
Yeah.
So if you watch the trailer, there's two lines at the very beginning of the trailer that made me very like optimistic about what the movie was going to be like, but also the comparisons that it set up made me be like, okay, this is going to be weird psychological stuff. It says beyond 1984, which obviously is a reference to the George Orwell 1984, and beyond 2001, which is a reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey. So like obviously those are two of the biggest sci-fi psychological, like give you something to think about movies and stories of all time.
And you even said when you were describing the trailer that the
Yeah.
head kind of acts like a monolith.
Yeah. And like, I think in hindsight now, because it's been a while since I watched the trailer, I probably made the 2001
because
reference,
of the,
because literally they say 2001,
Yeah.
which makes sense. I mean, if you're trying to figure out people that might enjoy this movie, those are two stories that would be comparable-ish.
Yeah, this isn't in the vein of 2001.
No, not at all. So like that's what I was gonna say, is that's where it got off the rails for me. Like I thought realistically from watching this we would maybe see, like from what I learned from the trailer, see more of like a dichotomy of these two worlds opposed to each other. And that's not necessarily not in the way that I thought we were going to see it.
We did get that.
Yeah,
in
we
a
get
way,
that.
but
We get that. We'll get into it. But,
yeah. What did you?
Yeah. What did you
What was
think
your
you were
impressions? Question asker.
Just because every time I saw that image of Connery in the Borat bikini with the fucking ponytail slung over his shoulder,
dude.
and he's got the gun, and I was told like, oh, that's a sci-fi film. I was thinking like a science fiction Zorro. I thought he was going to be like a big hero or something.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because Connery's always booked as the hero, and in this, he's not really a hero.
This is more like
really.
sci-fi Shalako.
Oh, he's the hero.
I guess, but like even he's kind of like,
Our
oh,
hero
I guess
is-
I'm helping. Like I don't know.
Spoilers: our hero is a rapist.
Yeah,
He's also basically the Grim Reaper's death.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, spoilers.
That was
like,
metal.
Also, second time the actual hero of the film is a rapist. Action of the Tiger,
Yeah,
because he's actually the hero at the end by pulling
Yeah.
up on the boat.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He
I think
actually saves everyone.
this movie paints his whole rapiness though in a very interesting way.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's a savior. He could, because he's, look how
Well-
virile he is.
Well, it's not only that, but they're basically like they bred and taught him to rape. So it's not like he's like, I know what rape is, and I'm gonna rape because I want to defile people for raping
Yeah.
purposes. He's just like,
This is what my God
Stonehead told me
do.
to fuck women,
Yeah,
and now I'm gonna go do that. I guess.
And violence is good.
Yeah, and like, but then also the Stonehead says penis is evil.
The gun is good. The gun is good. The penis is evil. The penis shoots seeds and makes new life to poison the earth with a plague of men, as once it was.
So Stonehead is not necessarily the.
That might be one of the top 5 pops
that
for me
in.
in this movie.
All right, yeah. All right,
Was that.
should we get into the beginning of this movie?
Yeah, do we want to do the wiki plot as we usually do?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do our Rotten Tomatoes and our.
Yeah,
our-
yeah. Do
Uh,
this.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
what's this
normally
movie
do.
score? Did it score?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a. Should we have guesses here?
I'm
Yeah, all right, go ahead and take a
I'm
guess.
assuming it's on par with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
All right, tomato meter.
But no, it's probably like
I already seen it. now.
Okay, it's
too,
50, and the audience score is 53.
wow, 50-50.
in all honesty,
Pretty much.
That's
Yeah.
a 100 right there.
I'm surprised it's that high. In all honesty,
It's 103, Mario. It's even better.
Oh, 103.
That means half of people like this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, 50 out of 100
that's,
people
that's
like this
above
movie.
average for somebody. Because even like,
I mean, this movie's
Medicine
pretty
Man.
out there.
yeah, and Medicine Man was like, this scored better than Medicine Man, I think.
Well, to be fair, this movie's relatively well made.
But was this like a cult classic for anybody? Like, that's what I want to know.
I don't know. I mean,
Like, who's rocking like merch for this?
Medicine Man on Rotten Tomatoes was 17 tomato
You
meter
gotta be
and,
shitting me.
46 audience. So
You
yeah,
gotta be
this
shitting
is ranked
me.
higher than Medicine Man. But you know what? I like this way more than Resident Man.
Resident Man. He's here. He's a man.
Well,
Resident
technically,
man.
that's what it's called when you're a nurse, right? Or a doctor. You're a resident.
Resident. I think it's a doctor in training, right?
Yeah.
Scrubs.
Yeah.
You do your residency.
Yeah.
JD.
He's doing his residency in the jungle.
Residency in the jungle. We got fun and games.
Yeah.
So, real quick, you said you've been listening to this podcast, which
yeah, I
makes
have
me
been.
happy to no
Yeah,
end.
Absolutely.
Have you
He was
watched any
prepared.
of the films that we've discuss?
I have watched none of the films.
Literally none of them.
None.
Not even Last Crusade.
Well, no, I've seen. So I've seen.
Yeah, like
all
I mean,
of,
have
all
you
of
seen
the Bond movies.
Yeah.
And I've seen Last Crusade. I think I've seen The Rock. I've seen League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Ooh, that's coming up.
Yeah, that was just my question was if you had seen any of them
Yeah,
that we
so I
discussed
have-
rather than
I have context for Connery
Okay.
as an actor and like his career, but
context
I have
with two ends.
but I haven't been watching along with the podcast mostly because like whatever little free time I get,
Of course.
I pretty much spend sleeping.
Yeah, no, you're good. I was
So,
just curious if you had seen anything
I just
else
wonder,
that we
do
listed.
any of the episodes make you want to see one of those
Absolutely.
films?
Yeah. There's been many episodes that have made me want to watch a movie, and then I'm just like,
such as
There's only one right answer.
yes. So I can't. Of course, I'm blanking on the names of all of the movies right now. But what the hell? What is Green Knight or whatever?
Sword of the Valiant.
Yeah, Sword of the Valiant. Yes. So
Our S tier movie.
Sword
S
of
for
the
sword.
Valiant. I definitely want to watch because I'm a big fan of like B movie level
Well,
stuff, and
if
it
you
sounds
liked
like
this-
it's definitely there.
If you liked Zardoz, you'll enjoy Sword of the Valiant.
Nice.
If we
yeah.
when we do the commentary issue, maybe Sean can
Yeah,
watch it.
that would-
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Yep, you're watching
Yeah.
along with us.
Yeah, that would be a good
For the
time. I
commentary.
would definitely be down for
Honestly, it'd be a good double feature.
that. Oh yeah, these two. Yeah, definitely. It sounds like there would
Zardoz
be.
and Sword of the Valiant would be a great double feature.
If you did like a 4-box set at Walmart, you do this.
Oh yeah, we did this. Yeah.
Yes,
You do these two, and
you got to sandwich.
Outland, because he's an Outlander.
Outland.
You got to sandwich something like refreshing in the middle, though.
Okay.
Of some-
well,
of them. So
Outland
you-
is refreshing.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
good.
But then you need something like big, so maybe indie, because it's an adventure movie.
You know what would actually fit with this, just because it's so goofy and over the top, is League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Because
Okay.
And you get all kind of ages of Connery.
Yeah.
yeah, because it's also gets some wacky stuff in there.
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
no. Fourth film, Memories of Me.
He said it for 2 seconds.
17.
17 seconds. 17 seconds of Connery. The shortest amount of Connery we've had in a movie.
No, there needs to be a box set where it's like the one where he's an extra, the 2 documentaries and Memories of Me.
You never see him.
So there's the 4 documentaries that he's. Yeah, it's just
4.
that's the box set. It's just the most boring box set.
They're all really shitty quality.
So one of the other ones I actually was thinking about watching was the last one, the goal one, because I'm super into soccer.
Oh, watch it. You'll
and,
enjoy
and
it.
I was like,
yeah.
oh, I like maybe should watch this. 'cause-
And Rick Wakeman does the score.
Oh yeah, it's probably
From
great
Yes.
then. Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah.
probably really cool.
yeah, it was good.
I thought it was very boring, but the score made it interesting.
But if you're a soccer fan, you're gonna go nuts. Why I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to like look at a list of the episodes to be like, these are the ones that stood out to me. But yeah, like I would say on average, most of the time when you guys are talking about them, I'm like, oh, I want to watch this. Especially once you guys start nerding out about stuff and you're like, let's talk about the cinematography and let's talk about this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I want to watch this.
Ooh, and there's cinematography to talk about in this movie, man.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
and it's another cinematographer that we've talked about before, Jeffrey Unsworth,
Yeah.
who he did Murder on the Orient Express.
That
He
is one I
did.
definitely I've seen the newer one recently.
I have
and
not
I've-
seen the newer one.
I've actually been reading through all of the Agatha Christie novels this
Ooh.
year, which has been very enjoyable, and I would definitely recommend to read them.
What else did he film that Jeffrey Unsworth? Hold on. Continue talking.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not so much interested in the war movies, like the what were the 2 ones you guys have watched that are the like big
Like
cast like
So The Longest Day
Longest
Yeah,
Day
yeah.
and A Bridge
Longest
Too
movie.
Far, which was another Jeffrey Unsworth shot. A Bridge Too Far. He shot Murder on the
Oh,
Orient Express.
Molly Maguire's. I
Zardoz.
definitely want to watch.
Molly Maguire's was fantastic.
Just based on what how you guys described that movie, I'm like, this is right up my alley. The kind of stuff I would like to watch.
cool as shit, man.
The Hill sounded really cool.
Oh yeah.
That's a great one.
I've seen The Rock, but I haven't seen it in forever. I feel like it's one of those movies that I've seen like on TV, like all the time. but like never like sat down to watch the whole thing. It's also a favorite movie of John Staten, my good friend.
Nice. Yeah, definitely watch it. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I had fun with The Rock.
Oh yeah, it was like, you know, and being able to nerd out with the fact that people speculate that was his final Bond movie. That, like, we had fun discussing that.
That's a really fun theory.
Yeah, it's like, why not? It's like, that's a more proper send off than Never Say Never Again, which we'll get to eventually. We still got to do the Thunderball double feature, Thunderball and Never Say Never.
Yeah, so
that'll be fun.
As we said, if we whatever one we spin first, we're just gonna watch Thunderball and Never Say Never together.
Yeah, I think the only ones I might have actually watched when you guys did the episodes were the Bonds, because I was just like, oh, I know I can get these, and then that sent me on a Bond rabbit hole, and I just watched all the Bonds that I could get access to.
What's your favorite? Who's your favorite, and what's your favorite?
My favorite is I like Connery a lot. And then after that, I actually, even though the movies are kind of terrible, I have a soft spot for Pierce Brosnan because it was like the Bond that I grew up with.
That's our Bond.
Yeah. And then I like Craig a lot. He's a different kind of Bond, but the movies are so good. They're like almost not Bond movies to me. They're like their own thing because they're so much like higher quality than the other movies. Man. It's really hard to compare them because like they're taken way more seriously. But his portrayal,
they're different animals.
Yeah, his portrayal of Bond is really cool. He does a good job at it. And my favorite Bond
film.
I like The Man with the Golden Gun a lot.
Really?
Yeah, okay. I do. I don't know. I like some of the goofy Moore stuff. Like,
we have a soft spot for Roger Moore.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's great.
I love
too.
Live and Let Die. It's a great film.
Yeah. And Moonraker is just fun.
Yeah, Moonraker is so
the opening
ridiculous.
sequence, that parachute sequence is skydiving sequence is 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Man with the Golden Gun for now.
That's a fun choice,
and that's apt because it ties in. with this
it's funny because we were talking about it today too.
How there's a room full of mirrors inside the crystal, right? It's inside the crystal.
I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rooms filled with mirrors.
Well, it was in the tabernacle.
Oh, tabernacle. Yes. Which was a crystal, which is not what a tabernacle is.
No.
Tabernacle is a table. Right, a religious
tabernacle is the host, or it is the thing that holds the host.
Yes, so a table.
Well, no, it's not the table. It's like the big metal, typically golden like box that holds the actual host inside of it.
Also the church. Okay.
So like it kind of makes sense in the context of the movie because the god is inside the crystal, so the tabernacle contains the god.
Because the only other time I ever heard the word tabernacle was actually on one of Snoop Dogg's like podcasts. Because his
Tabanizzle.
They have like
the Tabanizzle.
They have like the production thing at the end, like with like some goofy like tagline at the end. It's like he's like preacher tabernacle. And I never knew what that word was. I thought it
sounds like he's lining up to catch another fish.
I'll find it, try to send it to you, remind me.
Oh my god!
It's like preach tabernacle.
Give me them tasty Jesus cookies.
Oh my god! Yeah.
All right. So Zardoz, 1974.
Yeah.
70s, crazy dude.
Whoa.
Oh.
It was closed.
It was closed. Yes. Thank God. All right. Zardoz, a 1974 science fantasy film, written, produced, and directed by John Boorman, starring Sean Connery and Charlotte Rampling.
Who?
Real quick, this was definitely a movie that was written, produced, and directed by a person.
Yes. This is all planned.
Boorman decided to make the film after his abortive attempt at dramatizing The Lord of the Rings. Burt Reynolds was originally given the role, but subsequently declined due to illness. Sean Connery.
So funny because I honestly, dude, when I saw that mirror scene, and you see the reflection of him in the background, a part of me was thinking in my head, like to make myself laugh, was like, how funny would it be if like Burt Reynolds was just standing there. And you couldn't tell.
And then it becomes Daryl Hammond and Norm Macdonald.
Oh my gosh.
Sean Connery, in an attempt to reinvent himself after portraying James Bond, signed on. This was his attempt to reinvent himself.
What?
There were multiple times while we were watching this movie where both Dylan and Mario said, "You used to be James Bond."
You did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's like,
You used to be Bond.
that like meditation was happening. Like, I will not go to the second level. You could see in Connery's face, he's like, why did I do this?
He used to be James Bond.
I used to be James Bond for fun. I was the sexiest man alive.
That's why in that scene he just desperately grabs a boob. He's like, just back to my former glory.
That was him slowly trying to change back. He can't get away from his old ways.
Oh my gosh.
All right, shall I do a trailer voice?
Yeah, I think this one calls for it if you've got a good tagline.
Yeah. And if I want to hear more trivia about this too.
Yeah.
Because like some fun facts, like did Connery really say like, yeah, this is the one I want to do. Will change me. You reinvent yourself.
Imagine if this had launched him down a career of doing just
This
cerebral
forever.
sci-fi movies for the rest of his career.
Like what? Like Joaquin Phoenix? Like you show up on David Letterman with like a fucking wig on. It's like, Sean, is that you? It's like, no, it's not me. My name is Petunia.
I'm a rapper.
I'm a rapper. He's a trap rapper.
I'm
Fucking on tour with Post Malone right now.
Come on, Posty. You, me, and Billie Eilish are going to the moon.
Going to the moon.
All right, I couldn't find a good trailer line, so I'm going to take this wiki description. So this is the first paragraph in the wiki, not even the plot. This is the first paragraph. Zardoz depicts a post-apocalyptic world where barbarians worship Zardoz, a stone god with the power to grant either death or eternal life, and who, in the opening scene, declares, "The gun is good, the penis is evil." In this future dystopia, while the Brutals live in a wasteland, their overlords, the Eternals, luxuriate in the vortex, apparently as self-satisfied landed gentry. The Eternals created Zardoz to control the Brutals, inciting them to mass murder. However, Zed, Connery, refuses to accept the status quo and his place among the oppressed, embarking on a journey that explores the theme of genetic engineering and exposes the devastating truth about the corrupt society he lives in.
Zardoz! Zardoz!
The gun is good, the penis is evil is like their leave the gun, take the cannoli. You know what I mean? It's like that was like
It's take the gun, leave the cannoli.
Is that what it is?
It's the reverse. Take the gun, leave your cannoli. Forget about your cannoli. Have these guns. Take them.
You know when people try to make something serious and then they like go to the first screening of something and they like people start laughing at the serious thing because they think that some of the things are funny. Do you think like at the first screening of this movie, like Borman, who's like, this is clearly his passion project. He wrote, he produced it, he directed it. He's like sitting down, Sean Connery's next to him.
He made it
They're
through
all
the
sitting
whole
there.
production without once
He's like
getting it.
He's clearly super fucking serious about all this, and it sits down and it's like, the gun is good, the penis is evil, and everyone is just like laughing out
Just
loud.
a single tear.
It's like, what the
drips from
fuck
his
is going on?
face.
He's just like, oh no, what have I done?
They don't get it. They don't get it.
I promise it'll make sense. Just keep watching. Oh my gosh.
And not once during the whole production did he like he walks into the break room where this off to the side where the extras are having lunch and whatnot. Shh, it's John. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
Hey,
right?
hey, John. Good day shooting today.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And then he walks away. And
Yeah. I mean, this film is maybe the most well done like student final project I've ever seen.
It's a fantastic B movie.
Yeah, like I mean, I would almost argue it's like too good to be a B movie.
It's an A-.
Yeah, solidly. But like it's the epitome to me of like I've got a really good idea for a movie, and like it might have been a good idea. But
I
like,
think this has got some really good ideas in it.
It has some great ideas.
And
it has
some of them are executed pretty well.
Yeah, and it has some really... It's funny because I feel like some of the ideas are really poorly executed on the first try, and then they do it again, and the second try, it's actually good. And I'm like, ooh, you just refined it a little bit more. But yeah, like, the gun is good, the penis is evil, coupled with some of the rape stuff and other stuff. I'm like, this is a student film.
Somebody's trying to say something, aren't you here, Johnny?
Oh my gosh.
So let's get into the wiki plot, huh?
Yeah,
as we normally do.
Let's do it.
In the year 2293, the human population is divided into the immortal Eternals and mortal Brutals. The Brutals live in an irradiated wasteland, growing food for the Eternals, who live apart in the Vortex, leading a luxurious but aimless existence on the grounds of a country estate. The brutal exterminators kill and terrorize other Brutals at the orders of Zardoz, a flying stone head, which supplies them with weapons in exchange for the food they collect. Zed, a brutal exterminator, hides aboard Zardoz during one trip, temporarily killing its eternal operator creator, Arthur Frayne.
Okay, everyone who just listened to that paragraph learned more about what happens in the first
that kind of
2/3 of the movie than we did.
Well, as I said about the Christopher Nolan plot, like if you just read like the Wikipedia summary of a Nolan movie, it's going to tell you the whole thing faster than you're going to be able to understand it in movie time.
Oh, absolutely.
And
this movie opens with a floating head that's bouncing around the screen like the DVD like waiting sign, and you're like just waiting to see if it's going to hit
the
corners.
Like that Office gag.
And the guy's talking like he's like in a Shakespearean like film, and like I'm just here to entertain you.
Yeah, that's the first shot is Arthur Frayne floating around.
And it's funny because the closer he got, you notice he doesn't even have a fucking beard. He just drew it on with Sharpie. Even the mustache is like drawn on. And I was like, that's so funny. I thought it was real until he got really close to me. I'm like, why?
It's like, what is going on? When this first shot started, all three of us like verbally laughed out loud and said, what the fuck is happening right now? To the point where I think we actually rewinded it to start it again because we're like, what
we
is
need
going
clarification.
On? The subtitles on, too.
Did our laughs make us miss something?
Yeah. I mean, the beginning of this movie is pretty chaotic. I mean, it starts with that, then they hit you with a solid, the gun is good, the penis is evil, and then a floating head starts barfing guns onto men in red bikinis. I mean,
on horses,
covered
in like ashy mud.
Yeah, there's some weird. I mean, so speaking of the ashy mud thing, there's a combination of photos of Connery in this movie where sometimes he's like killing it in the red bikini, and sometimes he's covered in the ashy mud, and he's not looking that great.
Oof.
So I'm
making mud pies, 007.
So it's an interesting choice across the board for the ashy mud.
There's a lot of interesting choices in this movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So let's get into our notes.
All right, let's see.
I think this movie has made us forget how time and space works.
Yeah.
My first note is Bosco Hogan was one of the names in the credits, and I just had to write that name down.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
Do you remember what he did?
No, I didn't write down his position. Starting quarterback, I think.
I remember there was a horse master. Because I remember you were like, oh, horse master. I was like, okay. And whoever the horse master was on this film should probably be fired because there was multiple people trampled by horses.
Oh my god, because there's hunting scenes on the beach, and yeah, one of them just falls right in the path, and the horse just tramples the dude.
I have a note that just says the horses won.
Oh.
Yeah.
My next note is 5:17. That's when we first see Connery.
See him.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. He does a very dramatic, like the
Gun barrel.
the gif of the the gopher turning around with it. Whatever it is.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. And then he murders us full on James Bond style.
Yeah, that shit was cool. I wish the blood came down like
Yeah.
Earl.
Oh,
I'll edit it.
There's definitely an edit there.
Oh,
yeah.
for sure. And I like your comment when we then cut to inside of the stone head, and you're like, did he turn himself into the bullet that he shot into the stone head?
Yeah. You would think if like based on the rest of the plot, if the next thing he was going to do was sneak into the side, like inside the stone head, you probably wouldn't want to fire the gun directly into the stone head right before that. You're like, let me draw the attention of whoever is inside this thing.
Or he kills, he turns it, and then Arthur Frayne just falls out, just tumbles
That's how
out.
the movie starts instead.
The wide shots. Zardoz.
Oh man,
Dude, my first note is, well, of course, the floating head was like, what? Just the font of Zardoz is like a fucking Megadeth fucking
yeah.
t-shirt or something.
Or Iron Maiden. Yeah, it's
Iron
awesome. It's a
Maiden,
great heavy
Thin
metal
Lizzy.
font.
It's I want that on a t-shirt.
I feel like if someone brought those back on sick T-shirts, like people would buy that shirt without even knowing anything about the movie. So they'd just be like, "Oh, that looks like some cool retro."
Oh yeah,
70s
It's like
thing. That's
young
a cool
kids who
idea.
I see wearing Master of Puppet shirts. Like,
Yeah.
like that's a thing. They're
Eddie
like,
Munson was at the end of this movie.
That's right. Yeah.
I haven't even watched that Stranger Things. I just know the reference.
He plays Master of Puppets
Yeah.
on the trailer. That's really, he actually learned it and shit. He actually played it with Metallica, which is kind of cool. But, yeah, man. So what was I getting at? So, yeah, the Zardoz fucking stylish font is fucking dope. And just the aesthetic of it. Again, I was expecting like a Flash Gordon type fucking like hero thing. And then we see that fucking floating head, and I just thought of Majora's Mask, Zelda, when the fucking moon is coming to your fucking face in like 3 days. It's like, what the fuck is this, man? It's a fucking ship. And you go in there, and fucking naked people are in Ziploc bags and shit.
That was so weird.
What the fuck?
So there's a lot of boobs in this movie.
There's a lot of boobs. There's
Many of them are in plastic bags.
there's a lot of dick references.
The only time we see a dick is a drawing of a dick.
Yeah, there's the weird scene where they're just like talking about how they can't get hard anymore.
I've got a comment on that scene, but we'll get to it when we get to it. Also, on your note about the logo looking like a heavy metal logo, like the opening. There's a chord, like a rising swell of synthesizer as that logo comes in, and it's in the same key. And I wanted to just Foreplay Long Time by Boston comes in. It's been such a long time. And that's our credits.
Hell yeah. Oh,
would have been fun.
It would have
especially with the head just floating across the screen at the slowest pace of all time. Man, we were joking that it was going to be like the regular Bond opening where once he gets to the center of the screen he's going to turn and grow an arm and shoot.
A little tuxedo on.
There's just like 9 different Bond gun barrel openings.
Do you think that head? Obviously that was like it's probably a miniature or something.
Yeah, it must have been.
And then maybe they built the structure of the mouth or something for other shots. But like, I wonder if that's sitting somewhere
Oh, that would be cool.
in a prop warehouse. I would bid on it.
Do you think that oftentimes during the production of this film, while they were, we need another shot of the floating Zardoz. Quick, give me head.
Give me the head.
I need head now.
Come in here. With the head.
to deal me my blow?
How did you come inside the rock? And
There's some good quotes. In
there's so many sexual
we
quotes
turn
in
to
this.
teenagers
This
this
okay,
fucking
yeah.
show.
Honestly,
Yeah.
this movie is okay. I made the Barbarella comparison. Barbarella is a very horny movie.
Yeah.
This movie is hornier than Barbarella.
Wow.
The thing is, Barbarella gets laid. Like as a movie, as an energy, Barbarella gets laid. Zardoz jerks off a lot.
That's a very good way to describe this movie.
Like literally the first minute and a half of Barbarella is Jane Fonda getting undressed in zero gravity.
Okay. It's a good sell on a movie.
It's a great movie.
Good tagline.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, the tagline for this movie.
Literally the first 90
minute,
seconds is Jane Fonda undressing in zero gravity. Leonard Maltin.
I think I'm going to go see that movie.
Infant Leonard Maltin.
It's on the poster, for God's sake.
Really great movie. Really great score.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Like, it's not a great movie. It's a bad movie.
No, yeah, I know what you mean, though.
But, like
it's
really
worth a watch,
guilty
for sure.
pleasure, fun film. And the score is genuinely incredible.
Nice.
Like, really good, like, prog rock fusion.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that Zardoz didn't really sell on the score, man.
Yeah, there was, like,
Yeah.
light music, but it was kind of just, like, synthesizers.
I would dig some 80s
There's
synth
almost-
shit, man.
there was
Well, it was
almost
74, so.
Well,
Yeah.
70s.
There was
But
almost
still.
huge swaths of the movie had nothing for a score. I mean, lots of
Just
sound
synthesizer
effects.
swells and
Yeah.
chimes.
Yeah, there are tons of chimes, which like play a kind of is it diegetic sound in the film, where it's like anytime they're talking to the crystal tabernacle god thing, whatever it is, they're chiming around. So I mean, it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, there was definitely some moments where I was like, okay, like use something here to help build some of this tension, or
During like
release some of
the
this
dark
tension.
scenes where like people are getting particularly violent, that's where you hear like dark synthesizer swells.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, shall we continue with the plot?
Continue on.
Yeah, I think we covered. Did it talk about? Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go.
Did it talk about what?
No, I just saw it.
Okay.
We're good to go.
Arriving in the vortex. What's going on here? I'm logged into the iTunes store. Screw you.
here, Apple.
Arriving in the vortex, Zed meets two Eternals, Consuela and her assistant May. Mr. Superman not here.
They're really willing to force the solitude.
Overcoming Zed with psychic powers, they make him a prisoner and menial worker within their community. Consuela wants Zed destroyed so that the Resistance cannot use him to start a revolution. Others, led by May and the subversive Eternal Friend, insist on keeping him alive for further study, while secretly planning to overthrow the government and end humanity's suffering.
Describing him as a menial worker for the community is probably complimentary to what they actually do.
Yeah, like serves potatoes.
Yeah, they make him sleep in a cage, like outside next to some monkeys.
Yeah, and like file artifacts or something.
And then after that, they make him drag around the guy friend on a chariot kind of thing.
Passing out bread.
So yeah, serves potatoes.
Yeah,
And he like organizes like clocks and shit.
yeah, he's basically a slave. Like he's not really doing menial work, and like
The
occasionally
organizing of clocks might be menial. But
Yeah, that's probably the most menial thing. I mean, yeah, it's pretty rough. Also, the overcoming him with psychic powers happens regularly throughout this movie. And
Yeah.
it's equally hilarious every time.
Yes, it looks like he's trying not to like pass out.
Yeah, got like cross-eyed at one point.
He also dramatically falls a lot. Just
and makes like drunk faces.
yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
It's funny.
Yeah. You'd also think like after it happens the first time, you'd just be a little quicker on the trigger, you know, just like oh, get them before they can think at me.
Yeah. Just if I kill everyone here, they're just gonna turn back into babies.
Yeah.
I can take on babies. I'll just keep killing the babies.
Yeah.
That sounds dark. This movie is pretty dark though. That's not as dark as like the rapes that happen in this movie.
Yeah, I would say, so speaking of which, when they start doing their scientific studies I forget exactly how their further studies we learn pretty quickly that Connery's raping and killing a lot of people.
Yeah. And really focusing on the rape as like his happiest memory too.
Yeah, or like his most crucial memory.
Yeah, he keeps coming back to it.
Yeah, like so first they have like a private meeting with him where they're looking into his brain with the crystal thing, and they basically just see that he's murdering a lot of people on horseback with a revolver, and then he rapes, and he basically says like, I was told to like impregnate people for my god.
Yeah.
And then the two women, May and Consuela, argue about whether they should kill him or not. And then they decide to take it to a larger audience where they essentially show the same stuff again.
All right, everyone, watch this movie.
Yeah. And the Eternals are definitely wacky.
Yeah. There's some characters. And some of them are like mentally challenged. Did you get that?
Yeah,
or do you think it's like inbred, or
it might just also just be like complete lack of touch with like having to function as a person, because it seems like the biggest responsibility most of them have are like making bread or like serving other people at dinner. Like,
and they're all immortal, and so much so that they grow apathetic.
Yeah, basically, like it seems like most of them, I mean, we only hear very few of them speak for any sort of length of time. It's essentially the two people we've already talked about, Friend, and then there's like one other woman that he occasionally talks to. The woman that gives him the leaf, and like that woman, he like sees her on the horseback at the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't know if we ever get a name for her. I don't think we do.
It's like, is that the one that he promises to kill or whatever? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but like outside of that, most of the rest of the time when people talk, it's like this weird backwards reversed
that
language.
only happened once.
There's a couple
twice.
There's a couple of times it happens.
There's, like one of the guys are in the back, and he's kind of like, "Where's Mr. Mark there?" Like, what the fuck?
That was very
saying?
Twin Peaks.
Yeah, incredibly Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I think they just reversed the speech.
Yeah,
on
for sure.
But
And like cut it out too and shit. Like,
yeah,
like that.
Hello, folks. It's Dylan, just popping in. As I was editing, I was curious if this was actually a backwards language or not, so I reversed the clip. Turns out it's nothing, but here's the clip reversed for you so you can hear that it's actually nothing. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the show.
A weird cut in there, and it's like try to make this weird like sci-fi alien language or some shit.
But it's definitely like very 70s cult kind of vibes. Like the outfits are crazy. There's this dude that has like a crop top, and the part that goes around his neck like comes around directly below his nipples.
It's not like, this is like, forgive me, this is going to be like a crude description, but all the men's outfits are very gay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're very feminine.
Absolutely.
Very, like, you would see all of these outfits at a gay pride parade.
Yeah, but and then to couple that with a lot of the stuff they talk about in the movie is that basically all of the men, like, they cannot get erect. There's no ability for them to...
no one has sex.
Yeah, no one has sex. There's no reproduction. And if, like, you even have thoughts of any of this stuff, it's, like, greatly looked down upon. So, like, I mean, that kind of... I mean... Not to directly relate those things, but like in the 70s, I would imagine that was something that they would more directly correlate in some way.
And then when they catch May having sex or trying to get romantic with Zed,
oh yeah,
they're like, "We're gonna age you 50 years minimum."
What a crazy punishment! They're like, you did something fucking naughty, you're getting 5 extra.
It makes sense though, as if you're immortal, you can't die.
Yeah, so that is something that we also learn in this kind of early section of the movie where he's dragging around Friend on the chariot thing. They go by this like old folks home of like geriatric immortals and just like run in and throw bread at them, and they're all like kind of dancing to jazz, and they're whacked out.
And one of them goes, "I got it! I got the bread!
I've got the bread! I did it.
Well, we all have to share this one loaf. He'll be back next week.
Yeah, I believe the old people are referred to as renegades, which is also a nice conundrum there,
right?
So and it does kind of make sense because the reason they are as old as they are physically is because they are renegades socially and they're forced to age. And then the next place they go, we already talked about them a little bit. They go to this other place that's just full of these completely apathetic people where
called
Connery,
the apathetics.
Yeah, they're apathetic, and Connery like grabs a boob,
just straight up attempts to rape,
and then the guy's like, "Yeah, go ahead and rape her.
Have at it."
He
Not the first time this happened in a Connery Curious movie either.
It's always in a haystack.
That's where the rape trick began.
Yeah.
Go ahead, have at it.
That's right.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
And then she's got the crossbow in her. Anyway,
so
we're not endorsing any of this, by the way. This is not an
not.
endorsement for sexual assault at all. Shame on sexual assault and anyone who does that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But these are aspects of these films that we sadly must discuss.
So, well, I mean, to Connery's defense, a little bit, not after the completely unwanted groping, when he then is when he's then told, yeah, go ahead and rape this woman, he throws her on a haystack and like goes to kiss her and is like, okay, there's something wrong with this person.
Yeah, there's literally no emotion.
Like she's basically just like a dead body almost.
Yeah.
Like she's just like is laying here doing nothing. And
I'm not a madman. I won't rape a corpse.
but
what
then,
am I? Why, for some Clash, goddammit.
But then he literally stands up and he picks the woman up and he
throws her
violently.
like a fucking ragdoll.
Like, oh my God. I literally was like, what just happened? There was no reason at all for
That was,
him
like,
to
that was
just,
like Andy in
to
Toy
just-
Story with Woody. It's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. And just drops Woody.
Awesome.
Man.
That was...
He could have just left her in the hay, but for some reason he picked her up and then threw her. Like,
And then it was like Donkey Kong grabbed the barrel. And
yeah.
shit. I thought he was going to throw it at her, too.
I thought he was going to... There were multiple times during this film where he goes like full Lou Ferrigno Hulk. When he grabbed that barrel, I thought he was going to smash through one of the walls and run to freedom.
It's a silhouette of him with like Daffy Duck with the barrel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He kind of looks like a sexy Kool-Aid man in this movie with that red outfit. He's like a Super Saiyan at one point, or with the fucking like vest on and like very like disco.
Yeah, his second outfit looks good, I will
Yeah.
say. Very kind of like Bee Gees.
Yeah,
Like future
right,
Bee Gees.
like Disco Inferno.
Oh man.
And he had some like fucking bedazzles on it. All the tabernacle is like all bedazzled on his shit. Zardoz
Discos
on
Inferno.
Not to say this movie made sense to me immediately by any means, but like up until this point in the movie, I felt like the storyline was pretty linear and easy to follow, right? Like Connery is presented as this like very simpleton.
It's not Wheel of Curiosity time.
Get out of here with that.
That was terrifying.
It was terrifying. It's not the first time we've had that happen, though, with the brake cord went off.
I mean, it's very easy to kind of present him as like this, or like he's presented to us as this like imbecile essentially that like only is capable of doing stuff. Like he doesn't talk for like an incredibly long time in the movie, and then when he does, he's like food, meat, like really really simple things. Like we don't really have like
Food,
any...
meat, who lives here?
Food. Meat. Who lives here?
I am Arthur Frayne.
No.
Yeah, like he has like these very simple ideas of like communication, like
But but as it's revealed, he's just putting on a show.
yeah. So I was gonna say like up until this point, things kind of made sense, and then he has that next. I think the very next scene is when they have that. They go to that like big room as a community to eat for the first time, and May takes him to go do more experiments, and he does the goofy like I'm sliding down.
The pyramid. Whoa.
Yeah, it's like wacky waving inflatable arm tube man, like down into a crystal mirror dimension.
Again, very Barbarella.
Yeah, I can
guys
see
gotta
how
watch
you're saying it because I haven't seen Barbarella, but I've seen some other stuff that's like the same kind of like type of movie, and like it has those vibes, like really 70s B movie vibes to it for sure.
Keep talking.
But yeah, like that next scene, like out of nowhere, like she's basically doing like a genetic scan of him, and we learn that he's like the smartest and strongest person that's ever existed.
Yeah.
And we're just like,
Out of fucking nowhere.
we're like, what?
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's just a lot of the same vibes.
Yeah, very similar vibes. This is, for a little context, we're just watching some clips of Barbarella. And the score slaps. This movie's great.
Yeah, if there were more score stuff like this.
Dude, this is so Austin Powers, too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Fembots
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. Whoa.
Yeah, Jane Fonda's amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's Dildano.
Dildon.
It's my only fan.
Dildano.
It's my only fan's name.
If I could come back as any other name, Dildano tops the list.
Dildano.
Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, very much so.
Whoa.
Yeah. But see, like the plastic and
Oh, yeah.
like
Well,
it's
that was the thing.
yeah. See how similar the vibes are,
Yeah, I can totally see the comparison.
and the whole ending of the movie is like in this kind of crystalline world here. So.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna have to watch
this character's name is Durand, which is where the band got their name from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's an insane
great.
movie. So,
Yeah.
sorry, Connery, curious listeners. We're just,
That was riveting podcasting.
indeed, riveting podcasting. Anyway.
But yeah, so I mean, the bait and switch happens early in the movie where we learn that Connery has got the biggest brain and the biggest muscles of any person that's
And
ever
probably
lived.
the biggest penis.
I think we might have skipped that scene. That scene might be before lunch where we find out that he's got the only working penis that they've ever seen.
Oh, are we on that part now? Hold on.
Yeah, where they made him like scroll through Pornhub.
Yeah.
And look through at different videos.
Yeah, they haven't. They don't. It doesn't appear that they cover this in the Wikipedia plot. So yeah, let's cover this now. So they pull up Pornhub and make him watch a bunch of stuff. As my note that I took, has anybody seen the film History of the World Part 1?
Oh yeah.
The scene
Brooks.
where Madeline Kahn she has all her dancers or all her security guards castrated, and they're trying to find is it Cleavon Little? Is that the actor? Anyway, one of our main characters is hiding in the in a line of security guards, and they've got big fans like that they're holding, and it's covering their junk. And Madeline Kahn's like, "Bring out the sexiest dancer," and she's like, does a sexy dance, and nothing from the security guard. Does a sexy dance, nothing. Does another sexy dance in front of one of our main characters, and then the fan just lifts up. It's pretty crude humor. It's Mel Brooks, but
there's some moments in this movie we were talking about like that. One of the guys looks incredibly like Eric Idle, and
Yes.
like, there's some moments in this movie that have that like Mel Brooks, Monty Python.
Not gonna lie, Arthur Frayne at the beginning, the floating head, before it came into closer view, I thought it was Eric Idle.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of the stuff in this movie. Like he does say at the beginning of the movie that it's satirical. Like, I don't know what it's satirical of at this point in time in the history of film.
Rich people. like a class divide. There's clearly some knowledge of, like, forget 1984 is in the trailer, so it's clearly got things to say about class divide. Like, especially that at the end, like, we had to harden our hearts as we watched the poor people just suffer and die while we stayed immortal.
But yeah, I mean, that scene in particular could be straight up in a Monty Python or like any sort of
Cuts over to the sad, dirty, poor people.
while they're trying to make Sean Connery get an erection. Just cut those two scenes
You
together.
got John Cleese in drag.
But no, but I was talking about the scene where they're trying to get Connery hard, like, they're, like that could
Never
be.
thought we'd get here, huh, Mario?
Yeah, right. That part where we try to get Connery hard.
I mean, straight up what's happening. I mean,
Yep.
They start out by showing different depictions of penises, and some of them are like, where did you get, like, is this what you think this is supposed to look like? Because I don't know. I don't know how detached you are. I mean, it's 200 years in the future from now, but it's like it's like, what is going on? And then,
Yeah, it's 2293. So yeah, almost 270 years in the future.
yeah. So, and, yeah, they start out by giving Connery a good, lathering of boobs, and then there's some mud wrestling.
Yeah.
But Connery is stone cold.
And he's turned on by the lady that's grilling him,
Yeah,
who's not doing anything sexy in the slightest.
no, she's just mad at him. And he's just like,
I mean, everyone's got their kink, I guess.
yeah, that's his thing.
Yeah, I like an angry woman just staring at me. Stare harder, mommy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I got a note here. Echoes, Pink Floyd. You could put Pink Floyd to a lot of this movie.
You could just use that for the score of this movie.
Yeah.
Ironically, yeah, especially with the later we find out the Wizard of Oz connection.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was thinking of that too. Cause when do we know when it like first came to popularity? The whole Wizard of Oz match.
Oh, it had to be in the. I'm guessing in the 80s when people had VCRs for the first time.
Because this movie gave up that vibe for me where I want to put on a Floyd record and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Any kind of like record and like see if it matches. Because like, you know, Wizard of Oz, that works in a special way. But this was like very acid trippy, man. Like just like, I'm like, what are we watching, man?
You guys remember Sean Hare, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. He was really good at making mashups. I have one of his on here called Alice on the Wall and Darkest City, where he took Pink Floyd and the Dark City one, he does Pink Floyd and a few other bands, but just sets the whole movie to a soundtrack.
That's awesome.
And it's a really cool effect. I feel like this one would work really well.
Yeah,
for
this
that.
would be a movie that might be more enjoyable to watch if you just muted it and put music on the whole time.
Yeah, like a careful selection of Pink Floyd and
other similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Rush, man. Like a whole Rush record, 2112.
Or like some instrumental Rush tracks. Lost it now. Hemispheres. Yeah.
When do we find out that he is? When she says that he's got a big brain, is that when we find out he can read? Or does that happen later?
We get that scene where it's the Ghostbusters library scene.
Yeah, when does that scene happen? Do you remember?
About 3/4 of the way through. I think that's the big Christopher Nolan.
Is that-
Everything's
okay,
unraveling
yeah,
moment.
Yeah, 'cause that was during when he was like getting attacked and then like everything chilled out. We're like,
He gets sucked into the tabernacle.
yeah, we're like, wait, is this like still happening? Because we asked at one point, like, where are the guys that were just chasing? You know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
he's-
freezes as she's like, "Nah," and it goes to white.
I thought it was kind of cool. They kind of brought it back.
Yeah, that was nice.
Like, that's
It showed that
classy.
no time
Yeah,
had
there-
passed.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, man.
What else we got? Okay, I'll just continue with the plot here. In time, Zed learns the nature of the vortex. The Eternals are overseen and protected from death by the Tabernacle in artificial intelligence. Given their limitless lifespan, the Eternals have grown bored and corrupt and are descending into madness. The needlessness of procreation has rendered the men impotent, and meditation has replaced sleep. Others fall into catatonia, forming the social stratum the Eternals have named the Apathetics. The Eternals spend their days stewarding humankind's vast knowledge, baking special bread from the grain deliveries, and participating in communal meditation rituals. To give life more meaning, and in a failed attempt to stop humanity from becoming permanently catatonic, the Vortex developed complex social rules whose violators are punished with artificial aging. The most extreme offenders are condemned to permanent old age. Eternals who have managed to die, usually by accident, are then reborn into another healthy, synthetically reproduced body that is identical to the one they lost. Zed is less brutal and far more intelligent than the Eternals think he is. I'd say the rape probably means he's just as brutal. Anyway. Genetic analysis reveals he is the ultimate result of long-running eugenics experiments devised by Arthur Frayne, who controlled the Outlands with the exterminators. Zardoz's aim was to breed a Superman who would penetrate the vortex and save humankind from its hopelessly stagnant status quo. In the ruins of the old world, Arthur Frayne encouraged Zed to learn to read and led him to the book The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Understanding the origin of the name Zardoz, Wizard of Oz, brought Zed to a true awareness of Frayne as a manipulator. Infuriated with this realization, Zed decided to further investigate the mystery of Zardoz. We want to talk, or shall I just continue?
Yeah, well, I mean, the only comment I was going to make about the whole thing with the reading books is that we literally see him read 2 books in this movie.
And knocks the rest all over.
One of these books. One of them is like a baby book that teaches you the alphabet with pictures.
Yeah, like M is for mice.
And the other one is The Wizard of Oz. It's just kind of funny.
And then he
they're
knows,
like, you have you have the biggest brain of all time.
But he knows passages from like Shakespeare and
yeah. He also says
Dante
at one point, like during the conversation where they're revealing how he figured out the Zardoz thing, he says, like, I read everything. Like, he read the entire library, which would imply that he also read The Wizard of Oz already, but then didn't realize it until, like, this masked man pointed it out to him.
He forgot.
Yeah. He's just like, oh.
Hey, I read like 80 other books between The Wizard of Oz and now. You think I remember?
I needed some context.
Yeah, I got these Spider-Man comics. Did you read? Check out this one. It's called Goldfinger. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's there's some interesting things that happen in the scene where like he's basically revealing that he's smart. Like he's like, not only am I smart, all my friends are smart, and we pulled one over on you.
That was actually kind of a good reveal.
Yeah, it was good.
That.
It was good. And then he realizes that May is like, she wants to keep studying him and maybe like have his kids. So he's like, all right, well, now that you know my secret, you better keep my secret or they're going to probably kill you too. Or like something like that.
Which is weird that he didn't end up with her in the end.
Yeah. That whole part of it, like her part of the story doesn't really wrap up well at all. He just like maybe impregnates her and then banishes her. He's like, go east.
With all the other pregnant women.
Yeah.
You ever seen that movie, Little Big Man? That's me.
Oh, he was high-fiving all of them, like, down the line.
Yeah,
it was like
he literally does.
It was like Ben Stiller. And
Everyone's got cigarettes.
It's like Ben Stiller and Heavyweights when he's fucking come. You ever seen that movie, Heavyweights?
No. Oh, is that the one with the it's like the kid fat camp?
It's like a fat camp.
I watched a video on it recently about how it was like super dark and Ben Stiller didn't allow his face to be used in advertisements for it in its initial run, and it did really badly.
It's wild. There's a scene where he's like running into the auditorium and all the kids are in the auditorium sitting there and he's like trying to get high fives and nobody fucking high fives.
No.
So I was thinking of seeing him high five all those girls. You're pregnant. You're pregnant. Really good.
Everyone's got cigarettes.
$20 for the kid. $20 for the kid.
Yeah.
25.
Here's cab fare. Cab fare. Cab fare.
Cabs are here.
Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm out of cab fare. And that goes for all of you back there, too.
Sorry.
Only at $3.
Yeah, the way the synopsis kind of tells the story too, it's telling it a little out of order.
Yes.
Like he doesn't learn about the tabernacle or like any of the real details of what's going on about that for a long time. I mean, like at this point, basically, we know that he's smart. And May knows he's smart. Everyone else thinks he's like this brute that doesn't know anything. And then the next thing they try to do is like enslave him. Or like they make an argument of like, hey, let's bring them all in as slaves. Like they're clearly, we can bring them here and just overwhelm them with our psychic powers, and we can just not have to do anything. We can just sit around and have other people do like the very little bit of work that we do, like serving people potatoes.
And just bashing sticks into the ground.
Yeah.
Like that's how they dig for wheat. It's just
Oh,
just stab the ground.
dude, what about the scene? The very first thing that
Where one of them falls
Yeah.
over and Connery just shoots him.
at like point blank range. He's just like, oh,
They even
fell
look at
down.
him. Kept sitting there.
Oh my god. But that same scene, or so then that very next scene when they're like trying
Could you
to
adjust that?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like your mic is clicking.
is it better?
Yeah.
The next scene where he's where they're trying to enslave him is when we have the first like we're going to the second level meditation thing
Oh my
with Fred,
god.
Funny
which was
shit.
maybe one of the funniest scenes in the whole movie.
I will not go to the second level.
That was so like visually confusing and satisfying, and just it was just one of the most surreal things.
That was the scene of seeing Connery in the background, like in the middle of everyone meditating, like in his face. I'm like, I was fucking James Bond at one point, bro. Why am I here? What am I doing?
This is what
3
I'm
years ago.
reinventing myself
Only
to
3 years
be.
ago.
Oh my god,
I'm reinventing myself to be this. This is what I've chosen.
reinvention, bro. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like Outland would have been a better redirection. I think that's like we talked about it with you earlier. Outland is a really cool sci-fi flick with Connery, so it's like that would have been a better transition than this. Well, this movie has great moments, but like it's so weird, man.
This is a completely different sci-fi film than Outland.
Yeah,
This is science fantasy. Outland is science fiction. Like
it's a fucking trip, man. A super fucking trip.
yeah.
Yeah, this is a weird movie.
Yeah.
Like, I would recommend people watch this movie to like get context for what we're talking about. Like, if you're even on the
yeah.
borderline, you should watch it. Apparently, there's a 50-50 chance you're gonna like it.
Yeah,
So-
I'd say watch this film.
Yeah,
Let's wrap up the wiki,
yeah.
and just so we can just kind of free talk about this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
As Zed divines the nature of the vortex and its problems, the Eternals use him to fight their internecine quarrels. Okay, I need to know the definition of that word now.
Someone just
In-
didn't wanna write
internecine.
internal.
What was that?
I said someone just didn't want to write internal.
Yeah, I guess so. Destructive to both sides in a conflict. Okay, so it's mutually assured destruction kind of thing. Led by Consuela, the Eternals decide to kill Zed and to age Friend. Zed escapes and, aided by May and Friend, absorbs all the Eternals' knowledge, including that of the Vortex's origin, to destroy the Tabernacle. What? Okay. While absorbing their knowledge, Zed impregnates May and a few of her followers as he is transformed from a revenge-seeking exterminator. To what? These sentences are incomplete. Zed shuts down the tabernacle, thus disabling the force fields and perception filters surrounding the vortex. This helps the exterminators invade the vortex and kill most of the Eternals, who welcome death as a release from their boring existence. May and several of her followers escape the massacre, heading out to bear their offspring as enlightened but mortal beings among the Brutals. Consuela, having fallen in love with Zed, gives birth within the remains of the stone head. The baby boy matures as his parents age. When the youth leaves his parents, they keep growing old and eventually die. Nothing remains in the space but painted handprints on the wall and Zed's revolver.
Can we talk about that age transition, which was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life?
Yes, that was absolutely amazing.
So we get him like aging, a little gray.
It's like Last Crusade.
But like, yeah, but
not
I
fast.
I would have rather it moved like with the hair coming down.
Nowhere
and shit.
near as well done.
Exactly.
But you go from like, okay, you see a little bit of gray in their hair, then
A little
like
bit more
Connery has
gray.
like long gray hair, and then they put these fucking prosthetic fucking Bill Clinton masks on and shit. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
He is under complete prosthetics. Do you think that's him?
I mean,
They didn't disappear to get him a stunt double for this movie.
yeah, I don't think they had the budget to do.
Like, why you do that?
They were like, Sean, we could afford prosthetics, but not a double, so you come into makeup early today.
Yeah, so he's under all
It
these
looks
prosthetics.
nothing like him at all.
It didn't look anything like her either. It's just like,
yeah, I think it's got like Halloween masks.
This
or
it's
something.
so funny.
oh, the next shot
It's
guy-
the skeletons.
is like Halloween store skeletons with
They
gray
have the
hair on them.
still?
Okay, speaking of real quick, yesterday I was driving, and I came to an intersection, and on my left was a guy going the other way, and he was driving a convertible Cadillac, and in the back seat were two plastic skeletons with their feet up and their arms around each other's shoulders.
That's hilarious.
And as the
Classic.
guy drove by, he pointed at me.
What a move.
You're next. You want your skeleton in the back of this car too?
It mixed in before the prosthetics. We see Connery. So he leaves with Consuela. She immediately gets pregnant, like 9 months pregnant, and is having birth, like giving birth.
Well, I think it's showing the passage of time. 'cause
Yeah, but like we don't know that right away
Yeah.
because everything else has been like happening linearly, and then all of a sudden, like it goes from like him to she's pregnant to there's a baby, and then the baby grows in like 4 shots.
You know, in
And-
my mind, that happened in real time. Where I feel like I all I wanted was when they're sitting there and aging, and the kid ages and gets up and walks off, and they turn to skeletons. I wanted this Sean Connery skeleton to turn over and just go, did we know who that was? Like, they were just like 3 people sitting on a fucking park bench. like, who was that?
the kid runs back, Mom, Dad!
They had no fucking relationship. They don't even know who the fuck they he just.
There were 4 different people. It was
crazy.
a baby, a toddler, a kid, a teenager. They were 4 completely different people.
Yeah.
Just
So-
swapping out.
5 because that guy in
One
the
of
Connery mask.
One of the weirdest things about like the climax of this movie to me is that like multiple people want to kill Connery or like stop Connery or however you want to look at it.
Are you hearing those clicks too?
Yeah, I am. Stop it now.
Yeah, I think it might be your microphone. Or is mine? My microphone? Maybe? Huh.
No, it's fine.
Okay, continue. Multiple people are trying to kill Connery.
Multiple people are trying to kill Connery, all of them for different reasons, and every single one of them ends up changing their mind and being like, I'm going to help this guy now. But in the process, they start a full-on riot that like devolves into like everyone else who was kind of indifferent wanting to kill Connery, and they've just got like the whole thing going so hard that they can't stop it.
And like smashing up these historical relics, which then I like how he gets out of the situation by reversing time, which makes so he then walks out of the situation, but then he hits play again or something, so everyone just destroys everything anyway, and then gets to the center and be like, he's not here.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. Like somehow in the middle of all of that too, he like has the time to impregnate May, based on what the synopsis said. I guess like so they're like, we're gonna teach you everything, but we're gonna teach you with like hand teaching or touch teaching or something.
Touch teaching.
That may have been the coolest sequence of the film.
And apparently that was when he impregnated them, which I guess makes sense because they were like naked the whole time they were teaching him.
And everyone had images projected onto them.
Yeah, so I mean that was probably like you said, that was probably the coolest like cinematography sequence of the film. Like tons of like backlit shots with like
projection
really amazing
images,
projection images,
which we noted that's a Bond. That's just like a Bond
Like
title
Goldfinger.
sequence. You could put literally any Bond song over that and put title credits, and it would work as a James Bond title sequence.
It was really, really well done. Also in that kind of sequence is when we get like the Man with the Golden Gun sequence where he like learns about the tabernacle and then
Hall of Mirrors kind of feel.
And just starts trying to eventually, after chasing himself around for what felt a little too long to me, decides to start shoot
his way out.
his way out.
Shoot evil me, which I like that. That's the shedding of his evil ways. What is with these mics blowing out?
Power of Zardoz.
Yeah, maybe.
We've just been vomiting guns directly onto the
That
microphone.
was fucking fun. That was a
Huge waves.
Monty Python like skit, man. That was like the fucking guns and it was fucking AK-47 and
It's
shit,
like the
man.
Shining elevator of blood, but guns.
It's all guns, man.
It was like AK-47s and then
bullets.
like 12-barrel shotgun bullets. So it wasn't even like ammo that went with the guns.
Reminded me of, like, you remember those Freddie W videos we used to watch in college? Remember Freddie W? He did like he was used as an example for like different kind of like VFX stuff, and we were like working on like After Effects and stuff. But I remember he had a video where he was like, "We need more guns in this scene. More guns." And it started raining guns. That's what that reminded me of. Just the fucking raining guns and shit.
Oh my god.
That's the weirdest shit, man. Like the fucking image of that fucking rock face is gonna be like haunt me. It's creepy. Man.
It is very creepy.
It's creepy looking when like it's coming at you. Like I think I said this. Like I would be terrified to see this in a theater, like a big fucking screen, dude.
I kind of want to see this in a theater now.
Yeah.
This double feature with Barbarella. This and Barbarella as a double feature.
That would be fun at like the Avon or something.
Yeah.
Like old
that would be
historic
really cool.
theater.
Is it still open?
I think so. I haven't been for a while, but
okay.
I mean, they get a lot of the RISD students and Brown students, so they do pretty well. They're right on Thayer, so
yeah,
it's like a good spot to be in.
What other notes do I have? So the man who invented immortality is looks like Don Hector.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Mark Margolis.
I thought he also had a bit of Christopher Lloyd vibes about him.
Yes, he did. Yeah. I liked how happy he was to just die.
There's a lot of people that just wanted to die.
Everyone was so happy to die.
Can we die, please?
There was a moment where Connery runs and he discovers the glass wall which he presses himself against, which we got a kick out of. But
kind of looks like Waluigi at one point. His nose is like hooked and shit.
But there's a moment right before that where he puts his fist in the air, and I just thought the film pauses and don't you forget about me, which we did in college, if you guys remember that.
We did.
I think I do remember that.
We did a project and we had end credits for some reason, and we did that where it's like, you know,
it's like.
And then it freezes.
Filming Sean, editing Sean.
Yeah.
Like, all the same names on the credits.
The hillslide.
Oh, the hillside was
that stunt.
pretty
You think
epic.
that's really him?
Yeah. It looked like
Yeah,
it was.
it was definitely him.
Yeah, that was an insane stunt.
Yeah,
that was-
shoes too. We discussed the shoes.
And
They were
no
like,
pants. He wasn't wearing pants.
In that outfit to do that was pretty ballsy. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a pretty
fuck up your back, man.
Yeah, your back, your legs. I mean, you probably
And just this whole side of him
realistically, he probably only had a couple of shots at doing that without
hurting himself.
Well, not only hurting himself, but like visibly hurting himself, like being all scratched up and like needing like bad makeup to try and cover that up. Like,
Knowing him, he probably did it in a take and said, "No, I'm done."
How many takes do you think it took him to do the fucking triangle fall thing where he's like,
how many
That
takes
was
do you
a
think it took him to do the drunk tug of war where he was
drunk tug of war? I think that's my favorite part of the whole movie.
That's the psychic fight.
It's like Doctor Strange against fucking Mads Mikkelsen's character.
Oh my god,
It's
fighting over the cape or something.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Oh
man.
my, that
Drunk
was,
tug of
it
war.
was pretty incredible.
Yeah, I
It's
feel
the
like
only
there were
way
a
I
lot
can
of.
describe that scene.
I feel like there were a lot of one-take things with this movie.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, given its small budget and the amount of, I can imagine Jeffrey Unsworth was a pretty penny, and I can imagine Connery was probably a pretty penny.
Well, I think it's the kind of thing too where like based on what we were talking about before, where there's like a lot of these instances where it's like good execution on like the second try of something.
Yeah.
They probably didn't do that many takes of stuff, but then they watched like dailies and they were like, oh, if we just do this a little bit different the next time we shoot something like this, it will look way better.
Yeah.
And that's why it looks better the next time they do it. And like as it's almost like as the film goes on, a lot of the cinematography and the visual effects and all of that stuff gets better as they're going.
I would say the cinematography is really good throughout because it's Jeffrey Unsworth, as we said, and he's shot some amazing stuff. If you watch Murder on the Orient Express, it is a gorgeous film.
Yeah.
Like,
In general, the reason this movie is watchable and is like I would argue is an enjoyable movie is because it's pretty well made. Like they did a good job making this movie. Like I said at the beginning, this is the most well-made student movie I've ever watched, you know? Pretty fun.
dude, Murder on the Orient Express was right before this movie. Wow. Yeah.
And this is when he's like, let me reinvent myself.
Yeah. And then in two films from this, it's Man Who Would Be King.
Maybe he was like, this will be such a big palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Because like no one would have ever pictured me in something like this.
But he's so...
And it was reported that, like we've talked about on the show, where it's like, you know, he fucking hated being James Bond.
Yeah.
You know, like the pay bullshit.
They didn't
like,
pay him well. They didn't treat him well.
and all that shit. So like, you know, I think we talk about Man Who Would Be King being the movie that look how happy he is.
He's acting with his
He's-
best friend.
It's and all that.
Yeah.
But this was your first try. Like he
No.
like,
I don't think it was his first try.
but it's in the wiki. It's like this is like his first. He wanted to
Yeah.
a departure from himself, which is like a total 180. It's like, which is like, you know,
I mean, this is as close to a 180 from James Bond as you could probably
Yeah.
imagine.
insane.
But even-
still had that Bond feeling where it's like of course it's like getting fucking Stan Lee to show up and say Excelsior. You know, like, can you please fire the gun at the fucking screen? We did eat that Easter egg for people.
I'd say his role in Murder on the Orient Express is more of a 180 from Bond.
Yeah,
He doesn't fire a gun. He punches once. He punches a guy once.
but
in the
he's still
movie.
looking suave on a train.
Yeah,
so I
that's
think
true.
that's because we made Bond comparisons in that movie as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this is like, you know, 'cause seeing Outland, when I saw Outland, I was like, wow, this is a departure. But this is just like way further down the line, man. Crazy. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think, boys? Do you think we milk this movie for what it's worth?
Yeah, I got a couple more notes.
Yeah, me too.
Hit 'em.
I got what was the quote? Becomes a dragon himself.
Yeah, I also have that. That line was great.
Especially after seeing Dragonheart not too long ago.
Exactly, where he has become a dragon.
He's a
Yeah,
dragon in that
it's like
movie.
man who hunts the dragon for long enough becomes a dragon himself. Something like that.
Also, did you know M is for mouse?
I is for ink.
I read a lot of books.
I've read a dish book.
Have you read this one? It's called Mein Kampf. Whoa. Put that one down. That one's not good.
Well, that's why he wiped all of the books off the shelf. All of those were Mein Kampf.
Yes. I don't like this one.
The only other note I have that I wanted to talk about is that at one point he talks to this other woman that we were talking about earlier who like he promises to kill, and she basically says to him like there's going to become a point where you feel like you can't do what you need to do, and at that point you need to eat this leaf. And she gives him a leaf.
And
And then
edible.
at one point he eats the leaf, and I don't know what it did at all. It didn't like.
Is that what took him inside the tabernacle?
No,
No, I think it like made
that
him...
was in the scene where all of the where he's like surrounded by all the apathetic people.
Yeah.
And he's like in the.
No, doesn't he eat it after the tug of war? I thought he ate after the tug of war because he was like loopy, and when he ate it, I thought he like got straight again.
Oh yeah, he was like able to overcome their psychic powers.
I think so.
I have no idea.
'Cause I
I
Why
just
does
remember
it sound like this keeps cutting out. Hello, 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 hello.
we did make a fun joke that it was a Viagra leaf. And that he was gonna be pogo sticking around.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
pole vaulting over the fucking wall.
That was too good.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Oh my god.
That was the last note I had
I
though.
want him to go in the water like David Hasselhoff in the SpongeBob movie when he's like a dolphin. You ever seen that?
Yes.
He's like floating and he's like going, it's like a speedboat, but it's fucking Connery. Hilarious.
Hold on one second, guys.
Yes. It sounds clean to me. Let's see.
This is the test. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
It sounds cleaner.
It does.
beautiful.
Yeah, okay. Wow, that only took a complete computer restart and almost 2 hours of podcasting. Please forgive me, folks, for the audio quality that has permeated through until this point, and hopefully not again.
The clicks were the guns dropping out of Zardoz's mouth. Those are all the
time.
individual 12-gauge bullets just bouncing around.
But it was the affecting of the actual audio quality that was really getting to me. Like, the clicks
Yeah.
were a symptom of a larger problem. So
Yeah, I get it, man.
reset the computer, and sorry about that.
I mean, realistically, it was probably like computer buffering or like something like that happening between the interface.
But it was only happening on my mic, strangely. Well, then it happened on yours.
No, it sounded like it. I think when all three of us got going, it was just jumping around.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get back to where we were. So we were talking about the leaf that he
Yeah.
eats. Does it do it? Do we remember what it does?
No, that's what I was saying. Is like we were making jokes about what it does because I have no idea what it did. Like I remember he ate it.
We joked that it was Viagra.
Yeah, and then I feel like the next thing I remember is that scene when he's like inside the ass balloon, and they're like attacking him through the ass balloon.
Yes,
and
and it's
like
indestructible.
They're like this plastic is indestructible.
he
No one
punches
could
his
ever
way
break it, and it's literally like a regular like one of those like cheap plastic bags that you
Yeah.
would buy at like the dollar
Like
store.
polyurethane.
Yeah, and he like punches through it like it's the hardest thing that's ever been punched ever. And it's
And you see how cheap and flimsy it is once it flops
Yeah.
to the side.
and then also there's like 30 people trying to beat him up, and he like punches through that and just gets up and just pushes his way out of a crowd of 30 people that are trying to beat him up.
He's the strongest.
Yeah,
He's the
what are you going to
strongest of all
debate him
time.
at this point?
He's the strongest. Well, even if they wanted to debate him, we've also
the
learned
smartest.
he has the biggest brain of all of them. So yeah, I mean,
Shit, man.
yeah, there's some weird timeline stuff in this movie that I think makes it pretty easy for us to get confused talking about it. Like, what happened when again? Especially towards the end of the movie.
And then my last note is the tabernacle fight is pretty great.
I like the whole like come to my center and shit. Whatever reason.
Oh yeah,
Come to my center.
How did you come into the stone?
How'd you come into the stone, man?
I came into the center.
there's a lot of innuendo.
Oh yeah.
A lot.
Oh yeah.
It got very heavy-handed towards the end of the movie, and it was like, what are we doing here now? I mean, it was fun because we felt like teenage boys.
Yes,
just,
it was really
Oh man. Yeah.
right now. This whole evening, as you noted, it feels like a sleepover.
It does.
yes,
The fact that
What's-
we're still up at 1 a.m.
It's
Yeah, exactly, right.
1:30 in the morning. I have to be in Boston in like 5 hours.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me
man.
this.
Did I tell you? I told
yeah,
him.
we talked
You didn't
about
tell
it.
me this.
Well,
That's
but tell
right.
him why you have to be in
So
Boston.
I'm going to like essentially a booze cruise with my friend Andrew, where it's like, because he works for Fenway Park and he has to like, this like tequila company's running this little cruise thing, and like we're basically gonna schmooze with these people and be like, which tequila company wants to like join the Fenway brand, like sell that at their concession and whatnot.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, I get to go like taste tequila and shit and eat like little weenies and shit on a toothpick. But I have to be there like early. But I was like,
Hey, just hop on the T.
yeah, I'll be fine.
You take the
I
T,
apologize.
South
I did
Station.
not
Take
mean
Oh, no, it's fine. I didn't know it was this late. I was like, shit, dude.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Well, let's wrap it up and
Yeah,
let's
that
do our
being-
ratings.
Yeah, let's.
I think that's a
I
good.
got some fun ratings for this
Yeah.
shit, man. So, as you guys at home know, at the end of the review, we like to rate the movie, rate the Connery, but also does the SH and what's the sexy rating for the film. So these are 4 very important scores here.
and the score too, right? You guys gonna continue?
There was no score in this.
yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's a weird
It's
one.
a 0
Yeah.
for me.
0 goose egg.
I'd have to re-listen to it. I feel like it didn't even.
Nothing was memorable.
I could like. There's some Beethoven, and it noted that in the credits.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, that like one organ hit where it's like every key on the organ at once.
Music by David Monroe, so there is music.
yeah, there's definitely music, but nothing like recognizable at all.
Borman believed futuristic music would contain a variety of old-world instruments. Borman instructed Monroe to use a variety of medieval instruments, including knock flutes, medieval bells, and gemshorns. These instruments, plus snatches of Beethoven's Seventh,
Snatches.
give the movie a truly unusual soundtrack. Huh. Medieval
Snatches
and
of music.
David Monroe did not just emerge into the field of medieval and Renaissance music; he exploded into it.
Come on.
Jesus fucking Christ!
He came into its center.
Came into its center. Snatched it.
Whoever wrote this wiki article definitely watched this movie a bunch of times first and was like, people who are reading this are going to appreciate my choices of.
He said snatch.
I want this film on Blu-ray.
I feel like it's worth it.
That's one question we asked at the end. Would you rewatch it?
Totally,
Absolutely.
100%.
With the right setting, this movie would be an incredibly fun rewatch.
I want to try the Pink Floyd thing.
Yeah, same. And
Yeah.
in a live, like this on a double bill with I think Barbarella, or
Yeah, that
or
would be a
Sword of
good
the
time.
Valiant.
Really good time.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our ratings.
Let's do it.
All right.
Mario, does the SH?
I feel like it does, but not too. This is the area of Connery that like I feel like he doesn't H quite as thick.
No, I agree.
But I think I'll give him like a 4. 4 on the SH.
All right, I'm gonna give him a 2.
Ooh.
There was nothing that stood out hugely to me. Sean?
I was also leaning towards a 2. I didn't notice it at all.
Alrighty. For an average of 3.66666.
Whoa.
Or wait, 2.666? It's cut off here. Yes, 2.666.
Oh.
Okay. All right, sexy rating. Mario?
This movie's like sexy, but for weird reasons.
Yep. This movie is like the strangest wank you've ever had.
Yeah, man.
You're like, were there like, what? Huh?
Like-
I'm
Personally,
clear-headed
I'm
now.
really into Ziploc bags. So
we saw a record amount of boobs in this movie.
Yeah, this
There's
may
a
have
lot
been
of boobs in
This
this
may
movie.
have beat the amount of boobs in Medicine Man.
I think so. Yeah.
And all those boobs are pretty much in one shot
Yeah.
in Medicine Man.
And Connery still looks good for his age at this point.
how old is he in this?
He would be. This is 74, so 44?
Yeah.
30? Wait, hold on. 1930, so 44.
Yeah, he's
Or 40,
he's a,
43, 44.
He's a good looking 44.
Yeah, he still looks good. The fucking classic hairy chest and shit.
I love this poster.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
killer
yeah,
That's a
poster.
really good
looking.
poster.
So I think, obviously there's some rape in this movie, but like, it's still kind of sexy in a weird way, man.
Not the rape.
The rape is not sexy, but the movie is kind of sexy in a weird way.
I agree with
And I like freaky shit, man. So I think I'm gonna give. I think I might.
I know,
Like,
Alicia's vented to me.
yes.
Mario keeps bringing me all
Plastic
this
bags.
polyurethane.
Plastic bags and diamonds.
Mario bought a giant ass balloon.
and a statue of Beethoven to smash later.
And a condom to fit over a building spire?
I love that. Yeah, we made the joke that's like, wow, the Playboy Mansion was really weird back in the day.
Yes.
Right? Those giant condoms.
It
in the
really
back.
feels like a Playboy Mansion party or something.
It
It's
is.
Yeah.
it's weird,
It's got that weird vibe going on.
but
for
also
sure.
kind of sexy. Like, there's sex underlines everything in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for that, I think I'm going to give it an 8.5 for sexy.
8.5 Mario, I'm going to give it an 8.
Ooh.
I wrote down an 8, so look at us lining up there
at
pretty
us.
much. How about you, Sean?
I'm
What are you
going with a
giving it?
9.
9.
Whoa.
Wow. For an average of 8.5 across the board. What's our reasoning?
For me,
Yeah.
I think, a huge part of this movie is about sex.
Yeah.
And a huge portion of the later half of the movie is everyone trying to fuck Connery.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
pretty
pretty
much
sexy.
everyone. And, like, not for nothing, the man's running around and looking generally pretty good
Mostly
in the
naked.
most ridiculous outfit I've
Yeah.
ever
If
seen.
you're a teenager in the 70s, you're like fucking living.
Awakening.
Well,
This
like,
is
but like, you know
crazy.
how hard it probably is to look half, like, even remotely decent in that outfit he's wearing?
Yeah.
And, like, he looks pretty good in it, doing almost anything he's doing the entire movie. So, like, if there's the one scene where he's sleeping in the cage and the
he
woman goes to reach in and just, like, it looks like she's just going for a feel real quick.
Yeah.
But he gives her the eyes, like, I know what you were doing.
And he's got like the hourglass shape
yeah.
as he's lying down.
Like-
sexy.
like take me.
in that shot, you get this vibe of him. Of he's like, I'm actively trying to not look sexy sometimes in this movie because I'm supposed to. There's parts of this movie that we have to have a plot.
Yeah.
So like I think he's a solid 9, solid 9.
Solid. Time.
So I've told Mario before, my first job, when we used to make a joke if somebody was in the bathroom too long. 1 is pee, 2 is poop. But if someone was in the bathroom for too long, we'd be like, what are you doing in there, nining? So solid 9.
Solid 9.
That's a solid 9. That's where the pee is solid, along with the poop.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think it's a very sexy movie as well. Obviously, the rape cannot be forgiven.
Rafe is not sexy.
Not sexy
No.
at all. But Connery looks good. There's a lot of naked and half-naked women in this film that are very beautiful. I was definitely crushing on Consuela.
Yeah, she's a
Um,
very attractive woman. I don't
and
know
when-
what else she's been in
and
or her
when-
name.
Let's find out here because we haven't talked about any other actors in this. Charlotte Rampling as Consuela. Charlotte Rampling. What have we seen her in? Anything? She's an English actress. She's an orca. Anyone seen Orca?
No.
Okay. Basic Instinct 2. Stardust Memories. That's a Woody Allen film.
She was in Dune.
She was on Broadchurch.
Oh wait, in New Dune.
Yeah.
Who is she in New Dune? Reverend Mother Gaius Hel. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Interesting.
So Charlotte Rampling and then Sarah Kestelman as May. Whoa, she's in Knights of the Old Republic too. Not in much film. She's in the new Avengers. Anyway, this is going to hurt. Okay, that's enough of that.
Real quick, what about a friend? I mean, he was the only
Who
other
plays
real-
friend John Aderton.
It's the guy that looks kind of like Eric Idle.
He's in he's in Cleopatra. He's in a lot of TV. And then
Oh, that makes sense. That's why we
Bosco Hogan played George Sadin, the one who was on trial that everyone was voting for.
yeah.
He used magic in the
Oh,
wrong
yeah.
meditation level or something like that.
Just to bring down the vibes in the
Yeah.
office.
He wasn't
general
spirit
buzzkill.
fingering quite hard enough.
I'm going to hear at level 2, dude. You're at level fucking 0.
Take it right down, man.
It's a defect. They put me back together wrong.
Yeah, he says that, and then he's like,
And then
"No,
it's like,
I'm lying."
I'm lying. Oops. Just kidding.
So yeah, it's a sexy film. There's the as I said, this could have been somebody's first awakening because that scene where he like turns on the apathetic folk, they all start making out with each other.
Yeah.
Women on women, man on man. It doesn't matter. They all just start like passing on the goodness.
Very 70s vibes right there.
Groovy, man.
Yeah, this could be awakening for people. Okay, our next rating. Film rating or Sean rating? What are we doing first?
Film first.
Film. Okay, Mario, what are you giving it?
This movie's fucking ridiculous, man. But I absolutely will see this again in all forms. I think it's crazy. It's hilarious. It's cringe at times. It's scary at times. I had fun watching this. I think I had more fun watching it just with you guys.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
If it was by myself, I probably would have been like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, it would have been more of a slog if I didn't have you guys hanging out watching
Yeah,
it.
So I think-
it's that kind of movie though.
Oh, for sure. It is a
Yeah.
watch with friends movie.
Yeah. Definitely do it with friends. Yeah.
We've had a few movies that should have been a watch with friends, but we watched them alone.
Yeah.
Like The Avengers.
That would have been fun together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to bring those commentary tracks down the line. So
Yeah.
we'll be able to watch them all together. That's
I'm
gonna
down
be
for
cool.
that.
So I think for that, it's not perfect. I think I give it a 7.5.
Dude, I'm going to match you.
Okay.
I also agree 7.5. That was the rating in my head. I had a lot of fun with it. It's not perfect. It's not Barbarella, which I think is an 8.5 for me. But it's really fun. It's moody. It's sexy. It's
Goofy at
it's
times.
a vibe. Yeah, it's goofy at times. It's a vibe. It's a real vibe movie.
Yeah.
Some of it's real creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
also, like, for context for people listening, me and Dylan were under the cabin of spell. We were smoking, and like that's the way to enjoy this flick. I think.
Get a little buzzed and watch this movie.
I was
for
just
sure.
like,
Yeah, definitely.
when that fucking rock came at the screen, I was like, it's here. It's in this room. What the fuck? What's in it? What's in the mouth? What's happening? It's weird.
You're
man.
in the mouth.
I'm in the mouth now.
How
We're
did you
all
come
in
into
the
the
mouth.
center?
Through the mouth.
Through the mouth. I came in the center. What was I saying?
7.5.
7.5. Yeah, so 7.5. Would watch again. It's a little bananas. Some shit's a little dark and weird and not acceptable, but other than that,
Yeah.
it stayed above water for me.
What was that?
It stayed above water for me, where it's like, I still dig it.
Hell yeah.
I think it's cool.
Hell yeah. There wasn't a lot of water in this movie.
It's that big lake.
The beach.
Remember he goes
Oh,
down, he takes a sip from the lake.
Yes.
And
the
he
lake
sees
and
the
beach.
water when he sees the girl walking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that shot was weird. And then there was
Yeah.
that weird double shot too. That like
Yeah,
weird
she
edit.
walks across the frame, and then she just walks across the frame again.
It was like
Yeah.
two
It's like,
takes.
what is happening here?
There's some weird stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's supposed to be deliberate or...
There's a lot of that. It's like, do they mean to do this, or is this that's kind of what I was getting at, where it's like it feels like the first time they went to do something, they kind of mess it up a little bit, but then like they do the same kind of thing again, but they execute it way better.
And it's done a second time rather than redoing it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, let's just have it again.
This is a freaking stoner flick, man. It really is. It's
really
like really
is.
a trippy fucking thing, man. It's like watching like fucking what's the fucking Beatles movie? Cross the Universe, where it's
I
like
haven't seen that one.
Oh, you never seen
I've
Cross
heard
the
it's really
Universe?
good.
It's
though.
fun.
Yeah, where it's
it was
like
the movie that got me into the Beatles when I was like kind of mad on the Beatles.
Really?
Just because it presents a lot of their songs in a more modern interpretation. So like you get over some of the like early 60s vibes stuff if you're someone
They
that's
make it a
listening to
little
like
more-
Pantera all the time.
Quick aside. Last night, Nicole and I saw a Beatles tribute band
Ooh,
with my mother and my sister and her partner.
nice.
It was okay. They were okay. The sound guy did them dirty. Not on purpose, but he like couldn't mix the bass drum for shit, and none of them clearly could hear each other. And then with a little help from my friends, he forgot Ringo's mic.
Nice.
And
That's not important at all.
and their British accents. the first time they spoke and we heard that they had fake British accents, Nicole and I turned to each other and at the same time said, Borat?
Very nice.
My wife.
We are British men now.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so Sean, what's your rating?
I was gonna go higher, but I think you guys
You can go higher. Go higher.
No, I think you guys talked me back to reality because
Gravity.
it's not that good of a movie.
9.5.
I had a really amazing time watching it with you guys, but like I would say, in a realistic world, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm going a little higher is because I think that a lot of the cinematography stuff in this movie was really, really well done.
Jeffrey Unsworth, man.
Like, also, one of the things we talked about a lot that we haven't really talked about is that a lot of the visual effects in this movie for the early 70s were really, really well done. It's kind of like the prime of that era where people were they were making real stuff and figuring out ways to use it well. Like we were talking about the head a lot, but there was a lot of other visual effects that like they definitely had to think about, like, how do we want to accomplish this? I think there's only one bad visual effect in the whole film where they do like a camera shake thing that just kind of didn't really
it was a
translate
post
well.
zoom when the building shakes, like there's an earthquake or something. And there's a post zoom.
It's when the head falls to the ground.
Yeah, it's just a quick zoom in and zoom out, clearly done on the footage.
Yeah,
doesn't look very good.
But like outside of that, I mean, a lot of times you watch these old movies that are like B movie-ish and like they're almost unwatchable because of how bad the effects are. But like this movie, they clearly, like we said earlier, like they had a budget and they spent every dime of that budget in the best ways that they could have to make this movie.
And then in other shots, you literally have like silver tinsel hanging in the doorway.
Yeah.
But man, how amazing was that? I think we talked about it when we saw it, when the triangle mirrors and how they had it.
They look great.
It looked like a split screen, like anime type shit.
Yeah.
But like how the fuck did they hide the camera in that shot?
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good
pans
angle,
upwards,
man.
and
So there was some real cool like experimental shit. They're like trying out, and they're like, let's see how this works. And like, we saw it, man. We were like, we can appreciate that, but you wonder who appreciated it back then. They're like, that's just a weird choice. I'm like, that's a fucking weird but artsy fucking choice.
Yeah, this movie without that stuff is like a 4.
Yeah,
maybe, or like a 5.
The
like
creative
on a
visual
good day.
storytelling,
but like
takes it a lot farther.
like there's some artistry in this movie, which is like something that's lost on modern films a lot because of how much. I mean, I suppose it's a different form of artistry, but like so much is just kind of band-aided with CGI
processing line,
and like like it at this point, like some really cool stuff in this movie. So, despite the crazy story.
So an 8 from you.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8.
All right, which gives it an average of 7.66666. That brings us to our final rating, gentlemen. The rating of the man himself, Sean Connery. I think Sean should start this one.
Sean on Sean.
Sean on Sean. Sean on Sean.
I'm going to give him a 7.5, I think.
State your reasons.
Yeah, I feel like the movie doesn't give him a ton to work with from like I'm going to really act my ass off standpoint. It's definitely a way different role for him than other things that I had seen him in at like this point in his career. But I don't feel like he's being that different of a person in the role, if that makes sense. Like there was a moment where he like does a turn of a gun and we're like, oh, that's James Bond right there.
Yeah.
So I mean, like he's great in it, but he's just Connery, you know? And like we were talking about other stuff and you said that like Murder on the Orient Express was right before this. Like
he's a 10 in that.
Yeah, like I haven't seen it, but like I imagine he's incredible in that.
That movie's amazing.
Like in this, like I don't walk away with being like, man, like that movie was good and like Connery was incredible. Like I think he was as good as the movie was in this. So I think 7.5, 8, like somewhere in that range for me is probably fair.
Hell yeah. Do you want to up it to an 8 or is it
No,
7.5?
I think 7.5 is where I'm going to land.
I dig it. Mario?
I think I really landed on a solid 7, just because he doesn't have any memorable lines in this, man. I barely remember him talking at all.
Food, meat, who lives here?
Like, yo, that should have been the tagline. But like,
That's the trailer post, the poster line.
it's like the 4th page on the Sean Connery fucking soundboard on soundboard.com.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just like
Food.
there's nothing memorable of like his performance. Like, when we watch like, Rising Sun, we always talk about like we
Very, very oculta.
like, we just fucking remember shit like that, where like it's so fucking memorable. This movie, like, there's no like funny thing he said. There's no like funny way he said anything. And, like, it's not. He's not memorable there, but the look of him is very memorable.
His physical acting in this is probably the most memorable stuff. Like, he has the goofy falling down the tunnel line.
The hill fall.
The hill fall is great. The drunk tug of war is great. Like, that stuff is probably like his best acting in this.
Yeah, very physical in this. Which, I mean, he's been physical in plenty, but yeah, it's like so that was like a funny like change of pace too, and where I do agree, this is like his big transition or changing point, because he's not really like the suave hero. He's just kind of like a caveman, but like intelligent thing. But he's like physical, and he's not charming the ladies. He's just forcing himself on the ladies and shit. And it's just like, it's weird. It's a weird Connery to see. If I watched Murder on the Orient Express and then this directly after, like, what the fuck happened?
What a weird double feature that would be.
Yeah, right. So
it's one thing I think that cements my thought a little better is like, we have that whole bait and switch where we're like, oh, he's really dumb. Just kidding. He's really smart. And like, his character as it's outwardly presented doesn't really change through the entire rest of the movie, outside of the one scene at the dinner where he like bends over to her and he's like, hey, you better do something about this. Like, that's the
he never
only...
like gets wise or anything.
Yeah, like, like, he doesn't sell that more. He just kind of stays the same. So like you had just said something, Mario, where you basically said like he's just like this like Neanderthal barbarian, caveman, I think you said. And like, he just kind of, the character ends up being a little one-dimensional because of that. I think that was a really good way to say that.
Yeah, and
really
then the ending where he and Consuela and the kid just kind of grow old, that's not character development.
Yeah, I mean, that's not on him.
But the
story
arc
is written to...
Yeah, but it gives him an arc of like, he's a murderer, he's a brutal murderer, and now he's a family man.
Yeah,
he's a family guy.
But like,
but
it's funny because then the last like film we watched for the documentaries was the Russia House. Remember how that ended?
That was a really good movie,
and that ending made me tear up. And then
it gets a happy ending,
and so you get a happy ending there, and then you could have maybe did that here.
Kind of get a happy ending here,
but it's a very stiff happy ending.
Yeah, literally.
And he turns into a fucking skeleton, man. Fucking wild, man.
Both skeletons are still upright, so another stiff.
And then they disappear, like the bones just fell. They should have panned the camera down to show us the bones are all laid out on the fucking bench.
It said that I saw the handprints on the wall, but did you guys see his revolver there? I didn't
see
that.
Yeah, it's like rusted into the wall.
Oh, okay.
They're like painted red.
You know what I just thought of? That's like a weird other tie to the like the openness of this ending. It's like they wrap up Connery's story, but the other thing that they don't wrap up at all is that now all these brutal guys that have just been killing people for no reason, like, their god's not going to show up again. Yeah. So they're going to just be like killing people way harder. And all those other people that have just been like harvesting wheat are going to be harvesting wheat that's never going to get picked up. Yeah. That's not going to go to anybody. So like in the end, they were like trying to make the world a better place by like doing this other thing, but like, what actually is going to happen?
And he didn't train all the brutals to learn how to read. He only trained a few of them.
Yeah, a few of them, and even those guys, like, they don't know what happened to Connery. Yeah. Like, they show up at the end and they're just like,
they've been waiting outside the whole time.
they're looking for him. They have no answers on anything. Not that
And
any of the answers make sense.
all
but
the
like,
women that he impregnated are all just out there with all the brutals still.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to die. And if they don't die, all of the next generation are incest babies.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to be Connery's kids. Like, how
yeah,
are
like
they
those
going
women are probably going to stay together, and they're going to be like, hey, let's breed our kids together. Because they don't, I mean, maybe they know some stuff about any of this, but like,
they're going to be mutants within a generation.
yeah.
Like, anyway, happy ending.
Yeah, very, very unconclusive ending. But Connery dies in a very funny way. So
Yes, and I didn't give him a rating. I'm going to give him, I think I'm going to give him a 6.5 so that we can have an average of 7 for the rating of Connery. I feel that's nice and comfortable.
Yeah.
6.5, I agree. He doesn't really do anything that's like, it could have been Burt Reynolds in this movie.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I feel like this movie, if anything, like, might have been, not to say it'd be better without Connery, but it might have been better with like someone less recognizable in that role.
Yeah, Connery doesn't make it consequential whether the movie is better or not. I will say the one scene where I really enjoyed it being Connery is where he's got the ring on his finger and he keeps covering it. He's like, cover it.
Yeah, some of the caveman stuff is very fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, as you guys said, nothing super memorable from him for me. So.
Yeah.
All right, we've done our ratings.
That's it, man.
That's it. That brings this episode to a close. Oh, wait a second. One more thing.
Yes.
All right.
We got to go to wheelofnames.com to spin
The Wheel of Curiosity.
the wheel of curiosity.
Wheel.
Now, it is tradition, if we do have a guest in house, that the guest spins the wheel.
Indeed.
Oh gosh.
So, Sean, are you ready for this very important responsibility?
I'm ready.
All right, Sean, what I'm going to do is I'm
I'll
going to
try not to preemptively click.
Oh, yeah, we don't want that.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit shuffle a bunch of times and you're going to tell me when to stop.
All right.
Okay?
Yes.
Here we go.
Stop.
Nice.
Alrighty. Now, we've been doing this lately. Is there anything we want to see, anything we don't want to see? You said you wanted to come back for an episode. Is there anything that's on your mind?
Yes. I've been thinking about Time Bandits.
Ooh.
Just because I didn't know anything about it. But two things I learned. One of them is that it's Monty Python guys.
Terry Gilliam. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also they're making a new show, a new Time Bandits show. Like, just got, like, greenlit.
Okay, real quick. You brought that up. I had this thought before I knew anything about what this movie was going to be. And it was because of the Wonka trailer that came out. And as I was leaving Oppenheimer the other day, I saw a poster for it. And the tagline is, how Willie, or wait, no, I'm sorry, discover, which I hate when movies say that. Discover. No. Real people made discoveries hundreds of years ago. Like, we're just fucking people in a theater. Discover how Willie became Wonka. And I'm just, my brain, knowing that this was going to be the next movie, I'm like, discover how Z became Zardoz. And it's like Timothy Chalamet in buck naked but the red outfit.
Oh, my God.
Like it just like
Zardoz reboot.
yeah, but it's a prequel or a sequel or something like Zardoz Legacy.
It's just him shooting and raping people for
He
for
plays
an hour and a half.
plays the kid that grows up at the end or something.
The end,
Zardoz Legacy. It's
The
just
end is
him.
Palpatine and Vader looking out a window and they're building the fucking rock head.
That would actually be a fun follow-up movie. So we like find out what actually happens to the society afterwards. I would be down to see that.
Actually, the title would be Zardoz Tabernacle.
Tabernacle. Hell yeah.
So
A Zardoz story. Tabernacle, a Zardoz story.
Zardoz 2, Legend of the Hidden Tabernacle.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
All right, let's spin this damn
all right,
wheel.
let's do it.
man.
Anything we're hoping to get, anything we're not hoping to get.
You know, the Lord Zardoz came to us last week, so I think after that prayer was answered, I just want to do whatever it wants.
Okay.
I think I want the wheel to give me whatever it wants to give me.
Okay.
I'll take anything.
I kind of agree with that. I could go for a Bond.
Yeah, we're kind of overdue for a Bond.
I don't know if overdue, but I feel like it's time.
The odds must be getting in your favor at this point.
I think 21 was the last Bond.
Yeah. We did Goldfinger and Dr. No.
Yeah.
So
Or 17, I think. Yeah, 17. Dr. No was 17.
So
yeah, okay.
still...
Yeah, you know what? It's been a little while. 13 episodes since Bond. Yeah, we could go for a Bond. And this is episode 30, gentlemen.
Ooh.
Yeah, 30 episodes into this.
This is a big one.
Yeah, we're almost halfway through. Alrighty, so Sean,
What do I do? I just click.
you're gonna move that. I'm gonna move it away from that. You're gonna move that mouse onto Mr. Connery's head, and then you're gonna click. All right, but before you do, we've got to say, and you got to join us on the microphone here,
Yes.
that it's time to spin the
Wheel.
Oh, wait a second. It's 1 at 15 in the morning. We gotta keep it down a little bit.
Wheel of Curiosity.
5 days, one summer.
5 days, one summer. Ooh. Okay. What is 5 days, one summer?
It is a movie
Perfect.
starring Sean Connery.
It's perfect. We're coming up to almost the last 5 days of summer, too. So
That is true.
Summer flew by, man. What year is it?
What year is it?
1982, 5 days, one summer. He plays Douglas Meredith, an American romantic drama film.
Oh.
He's the lead. Cool.
Sounds fun.
Sounds like a date movie.
Yeah,
Flick.
is this? Well, it's not our first It's not our first romantic movie.
Oh yeah, we've had.
I mean,
Cuba-
Zardoz was
Cuba,
incredibly
yeah.
romantic.
Oh yeah.
And you can't forget the romance in Action of the Tiger.
Oh yeah. And The Hill.
Oh yeah,
He
lots
had
of.
sex with The Hill.
Oh, don't shut that. Careful, that one's the gas.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, the Molly Maguires, so romantic.
There's romance in that
Oh,
film.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, there's like one scene where it's just like
What's
he's
his
reciting poetry.
What's his
Oh,
name?
yeah, that's right.
Richard Harris.
Richard Harris is fucking.
I said he's
sexy.
reciting poetry.
Reciting.
He's reciting poetry to her,
Oh.
and like they're playing like riddles or something.
Yeah.
There's a breast milk. Yeah.
Oh,
Alrighty, well, we'll see you next week
Yes,
for
Sean-
5 days, one summer.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, so thanks to Sean
Murphy will return.
Do you have anything to plug? Like,
Yeah,
No,
plug away.
I'm not doing anything these days, but listen to No Plateau, listen to Nobody's Boy Scout, and
You can hear those on all your music streaming
yeah,
services.
all the stuff out there.
You should buy them, though.
Spotify,
They're
yeah, buy them, listen to them, do your thing, and then yeah, keep an eye out for all the stuff that these guys are doing because I'll probably be involved in it in some way, shape, or form when I
seriously, there's
can sneak out of the house. So
hell yeah, we're glad you were able to sneak out. We were so excited last week. We're like, we haven't seen Sean in forever.
me as well.
And,
This was such a treat.
Yes.
Such a fucking treat.
I've been
man.
painting my house literally for 9 days straight because I was off all week this past week.
Oh, wow.
So when you called me, I was like, oh, this is going to be perfect. Tomorrow will be my first day back at work. So I was like, oh, this is the perfect way to cap off this whole time frame.
No,
So,
how cool we could
yeah.
do that for you.
yeah,
Hell
excellent.
yeah, man.
excellent
Thank you very
stuff.
much for joining.
Yeah, we appreciate you listening every week and stuff.
That
so like,
yeah.
warms our hearts, man.
It's
Genuinely,
awesome.
it makes us happy. We keep doing this.
hell yeah, man.
So, yeah, Sean Connery. You just say it.
Oh, Sean Connery will return in 5 days of summer.
5 days, one summer.
One summer.
Yeah, not 500 days of summer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 5 days.
And
one
Lenny
summer.
Kravitz has the song. 5 more days till summer. Oh, drift me
Sean
away.
Connery will return in Little Miss Sunshine.
I want to get away. I
wanna
wanna fly away. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanna get away. Yeah.
But anyways.
All right. As always, I've been Dylan. Oh wait, is it you first?
Who cares, man?
Okay.
It's
All
1:30.
right. I'm Dylan
It's two.
Titus,
I'm Mario Lima.
I'm Sean Murphy.
and as always, folks.
Stay curious.
You can do it if you want.
No, I don't have a good Connery.
Oh, okay. And as always, folks,
Stay curious. Woo, man.
Connery Curious.
You've been listening to Connery Curious, a Titus Compositions and Friggin' Nerds Media podcast. Follow us on social media for updates, memes, and clips. Find us on Twitter at CuriousPod007 and on Instagram at Connery Curious. You can also visit Titus Compositions at Titus Compositions to hear other podcasts and original music, watch music videos, or even pick up a great vinyl record. For more discussion and content about your favorite films, comics, games, and a network for all things nerdy, visit Friggin' Nerds Media on Twitter at Friggin' Nerds. You can rate, review, and share the podcast in-app, which helps us grow the show and reach the other curious Connerys out there. Thanks for spending time with us, and have a great day, but also, remember, stay curious.
This brutal, like other primates living unself-conscious lives, is capable of spontaneous and reflexive erection.
The penis is evil.
I have so many questions, man.